Hey, thanks, Joe, and welcome, baseball fans, into the Medicine River Oil Recyclers pregame report ahead of this West Division showdown between the Okotoks Dawgs and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Following a day off, the Gulls fly into this game, picking up back-to-back wins, including a dominant 10-0 performance in Medicine Hat on Tuesday afternoon. 5 different hitters sent one over the fence that day for Sylvan Lake, including Elijah Hamill and Dom Giusti, who both come into tonight's game with homers in back-to-back games. Charlie Collins also picked up a grand slam homer with the 4 RBIs on the afternoon as well. This will be the 4th of 8 meetings between the Dawgs this season, and Okotoks is leading the season series 2-1 so far. Gulls currently sit a game and a half away from Okotoks for first place in this division. Sylvan Lake, are you ready? Because it's the battle between the 2 top teams in the West coming your way next. Enjoy the game.
Marked these lands for centuries. In collaboration with the Western Canadian Baseball League, the Sylvan Lake Gulls are proud to welcome you to Gulls Field at Pogattle Park in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. Welcome back to the ballpark, everyone, for tonight's regular season matchup between the visiting Okotoks Dawgs and your Sylvan Lake Gulls. Tonight's game is brought to you by Provincial Vodka, sponsors of the Provincial Vodka Patio. Watch for the PV Crush It team on our concourse and under the tent, and with their display, they're offering complimentary samples throughout the ball game until 7:30. Please drink responsibly. Tonight's game brought to you by Provincial Vodka. With the Tiki Torches, it's a toga party. Brought to you by Provincial Vodka, and we're glad you're with us. At this time, I'll draw your attention to the left side of home plate, where we make a very special presentation. Before tonight's game, it gives us great pleasure to recognize an incredible community partnership that's helped make a big impact here in Central Alberta. Please join me in welcoming board members from the Gulls Give Foundation, including Executive Director Marnie McMahon, Founder Jen Schetzel, President Graham Schetzel, and Director Pam Sherman, along with our very special guest from Scotiabank, Sylvan Lake. The Sylvan Lake branch manager is Brittany Evans, Senior Financial Advisor Brandon Parsons, Customer Experience Lead Megan McWade, and Lindy Kennedy, and the Team Lead for Business Banking Prairie Region. This Monday, July 20th, marks the Gulls Give Foundation's 6th annual Parallax Energy Birdie Bash at Alberta Springs Golf Resort. The Birdie Bash is one of our foundation's premier fundraising events all season long. This year, through the Scotiabank team represented on the field, they're making an extraordinary commitment by pledging and matching pledges up to $75,000. An incredible donation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in thanking Scotiabank Sylvan Lake for their partnership. Just a reminder, fans, Monday is our golf tournament, the Birdie Bash, and there are still spots available, but tomorrow is the deadline. If you'd like to be involved with sponsorship or even as a golfer, please help us maximize the impact of this partnership that supports mental health initiatives across Central Alberta.
Summer lingers in the
Just the first pitch is proudly supported by Scotiabank. Thanks to Brittany Evans and the amazing
Summer lingers. In the air. In the sound. Open skies. Worn boots. One more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send-off.
The Gulls take game one.
And he's looking for the strikeout to put an exclamation point on this series, and he does.
And for the first time in franchise history, the Sylvan Lake Gulls head to the WCBL championship. There will be a new WCBL champion this season.
That's got a chance.
Or a home
Where
run.
is it going?
Good
is it
night.
enough? Yes, it does. Marcus Abelhosen with the walk-off homer.
The Sylvan Lake Gulls have got the dog off their back. They are headed to the WCBL championship final with an 8-4 win.
A scorcher of a day sets up for an absolute heated rivalry between the top two teams in the West Division, the Okotoks Dawgs and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to Gulls Baseball on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. I'm Cale Clark. This is Scott Stimson. So excited to have you tuning in to Gulls Baseball right here in the Western Canadian Baseball League. And yes, it is going to be a heated tilt here tonight, Scott. Okotoks Dawgs ride in for the fourth game of 8 meetings between these two teams, leading the season series 2-1. But you know Sylvan Lake will be looking to even it up here tonight.
Yeah, it seems like these games don't get more important as the season goes on. The season series 2-1 in favor of Okotoks, and they're, a game and a half back of Okotoks for the top spot in the West. So obviously the stakes get higher and higher the more that these two teams meet, and it's going to come down probably to the last meeting of the season between the two, let alone the last game of the season to see who comes out on top.
It is Toga night, so that is why I'm wearing this beautiful headband. I don't know what.
Very Greek of you.
Greek of me. Very Greek of me. But great to have you all watching in from wherever you may be as we get underway. Now, some good storylines coming into tonight. Now, obviously, the Sylvan Lake Gulls coming off a huge 10-0 win over the Medicine Hat Mavericks. And, of course, the guy that kind of helped get things going was the guy that was the Western Canadian Baseball League Player of the Week. That's right. Charlie Collins, the Village Brewery Player of the Week, continues to roll into this week. And this is what he did just on Tuesday night in that makeup game against the Medicine Hat Mavericks. Bases loaded situation. Collins at the dish, and he just lifts this over the left field wall that would land for a grand slam to get the Gulls a nice cushy lead in the top of the fourth inning, making it 6-0. And then, of course, 5 different hitters that game went on to send balls over the fence that night. So 4 other batters, Elijah Hamill and Dom Giusti. And Charlie Collins obviously has earned his spot in a lineup that's not necessarily easy to get a start on every single night.
No, but he's solidified his spot. He's always in right field, and he's worked his way up the lineup. He's up to the number 2 spot, and he's the best hitter on the team statistically. He is hitting over 400, the only player right now that's currently doing so. So he's earned his way to be the go-to guy on this Gulls team.
And he's doing a really great job defensively out in right field, making some good catches when he needs to. He's got the arm as well, so he's definitely a guy that Sylvan Lake is looking heavily on every single night. Other 2 guys that come in, Dom Giusti and Elijah Hamill coming in with back-to-back homers in those 2 games. And Dom Juice is one of those guys that knows how hard it is to get a start in a ball game. Well, this guy is going to get the start for the Sylvan Lake Gulls on the mound. Matthew McKenzie with 4 starts already to date this summer. He's a 1-0. He's got a 3.38 ERA. He's got over 18 innings of work. He's given up just 19 hits, 19 strikeouts, and walked 7 batters. And this is who he's going to face, Scott.
Yeah, he's got a pretty tough assignment tonight. Ricardo Sanchez, Cal Gates, Landon Kaufman, probably 3 of the better hitters in this WCBL to lead off the game. They're going to be rounded out by Bryant Starr in the number 9 hole for the Dogs tonight.
And they got about 7 batters that can hit over 400 this year. So it's going to be a tough test for McKenzie, but it's not. He's used to it. John Boy Rittenhouse, Dom Giusti, and Charlie Collins will be your outfield for the Gulls. Jaden Flores steps in over at third. Tylen Grays at short. You got Joey Marino over at second, and Coleman Perry in his wheelhouse at first base with Reese Sherman, the Div 1 prospect, going to be catching balls and strikes behind the plate as he goes to Gonzaga University. So, yeah, it is going to be a great night of baseball here in Sylvan Lake. The weather
Hot night.
could not be any better, really. Pretty hot for these guys down on the field. The crowd's loving it, though, and the ballpark is absolutely packed. You take a look at the left field berm, and, yeah, it is looking pretty full out there. Not a lot of space left on that grassy hill. So everybody in for a nice treat for the top 2 teams in the West Division to duke it out.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal game. This is the marquee matchup that you look forward to every single season. It's when are the Dogs in town, and they are in town tonight. And what a night it'll be between the Dogs and the Gulls.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was actually talking to the coaching staff, of course. I was talking to Joe Sargent and Lou Pote and of course Dave as well. And yeah, it was one of those things where, like, we feel like we haven't seen you in a long, long time. That's because they haven't. It comes all the way back to the home opener. That's the last time Okotoks has been here at Gulls Field, was back on May 28th. So, yeah, it's long due to see Okotoks yet again here at Gulls Field as the first pitch is fouled by a dangerous Ricardo Sanchez. They call him Ricky. And, of course, it's kind of it gives you a little bit of that rematch feeling from the West Division final in the playoffs last year. Matthew McKenzie, he was the guy that they turned to on the mound to start those games. And he's got to face this Dogs team yet again as Sanchez lifts this high and just foul. It went the distance, but it just went foul.
Yeah, that's a very loud strike right there.
Yeah.
That's the danger that you see in this Dogs lineup. It's up and down the line. There's no relief in the batters that you're facing tonight, especially in the top half of the order.
I mean, very similar to how the Sylvan Lake Gulls are built this year as well.
Yes.
Offensively, you just can't get away with a bad batter. And you know what? All these pitchers are going to have to work for their outs this evening because it is not going to be an easy test for either side of the bullpen. And you already got guys warming up in the bullpen. I mean, maybe they're just lightly warming up. I see Sylvan Lake does have a guy kind of getting loose already, which may be a little bit of a surprise. I'm not sure if that's something to watch for, as this is lifted right to the left fielder. And John Boy Rittenhouse doesn't have to move very far for out number 1, as that ball was well connected off the bat of Ricardo Sanchez.
Yeah, had some pretty good pop in his bat, but maybe 2-3 steps there for John Boy Rittenhouse out in left field. That's pretty good location right there.
And anytime you see a hard hit ball like that, like a line drive, you wonder, how's the fielder going to pick this ball up? Is he going to, because we have seen lately the fielders have overran balls, and there's been some interesting plays out in the outfield where the wind does play a factor. Luckily tonight, there is no wind really here at Gulls Field. It's just a hot, calm day, so that'll allow the fielders a little bit more of that advantage, if you will, to settle underneath pop flies and make sure they get the outs when they need them.
I was going to say maybe not luckily tonight. I can already feel the sweat beating down.
Yeah, that might be the only thing they're dealing with out in the outfield is the sweat dripping into their eyes. But a good pitch there by McKenzie. As Gates, who's had a good season as well for this Okotoks Dogs team. Cal Gates, 429 on the season. He's got 22 RBIs, 2 homers, and 39 hits. And he lifts this into left field, opposite field. John Boy Rittenhouse again settling underneath of it, making the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, he's finding himself pretty busy out in left field, John Boy Rittenhouse. This one was hit a little bit higher, so he had to move a little bit more as it was a little closer to the center field portion of the field, still very much in left field, but getting involved in this game early and often, it seems.
And that's a good guy to get involved early as well. And John Boyd Rittenhouse, he's a guy that can have a huge impact in a ball game. So the number 3 hitter, Landon Kaufman, and I kind of made a list of some top players on both sides who have been one of the probably players to watch out for. In Okotoks Dawgs, Landon Kaufman has had some pretty good last few games. 5 for 15, he's got 5 RBIs, 5 runs, 2 stolen bases, and 1 homer. So when he does get on base, this is a guy you got to be careful and you got to watch that he can run the base pass pretty easily.
And going into what's All-Star weekend, how fitting. We see 2 teams with tons of All-Stars. They only got 5 aside that make the team, but you could realistically go up and down the lineup and say, why isn't he there? Why isn't he there?
Yeah, exactly. They're guys that they could definitely send more than just 5. And we saw that with the Gulls. We see that with the Dawgs. Of course, Landon Kaufman, one of those guys not being sent to the All-Star, but definitely has a good bat in him. 1-2 to Kaufman. McKenzie trying to get him chased, but a good eye there. Evening the count, 2-2. It might be a pitcher's duel here this evening. Pop fly ball into foul territory down the first baseline. Coleman Perry trying to get there, and he gets called off as Joey Marino tries to come in sliding to make that catch, but it kind of landed in the middle of all the fielders, not able to get there in time.
Yeah, that one just kept carrying, and it ended up pretty much in the middle of the warning track out in the right field foul territory, and it just comes up pretty short there, but kind of diving to try to make a play, but just ran out of real estate.
So Kaufman gets a little bit of a break there. An even count, 2-2, 2 away. Gulls looking like for a solid first defensive inning, and that goes off the inside and fouled towards the Gulls dugout. And this is a guy you want to see on the mound if you're Sylvan Lake, a veteran player like Matthew McKenzie, who they turn to in the heat of the moment in the playoffs. He really came into his own last season, made a name for himself, and he picks up from where he left off last year. This hit on the ground, foul as well. As Kaufman's putting together a really good at-bat here, fighting off a few pitches. McKenzie now up to 16 pitches just already in this first inning.
It's probably going to be a battle all night long, and
is.
it's going to be a battle just individually with batters, and like you had mentioned, this is certainly what we're seeing with Landon Kaufman.
It's going to come down to which arm's going to last longest, I think. And Kaufman will hit a 2-bouncer right to, of course, the third baseman, Jaden Flores, who makes the throw in time for out number 3. So really good first inning for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. 3 up, 3 down inning. They'll come to the bats in the bottom of the first. You're watching Gulls baseball.
Summer lingers in the air, in the sound, open skies, worn boots, one more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send-off.
Well, we're talking about good pitching, and the Okotoks Dawgs are looking to Brody Pape, who's got a 1-0 record, 12 innings of work, 4 hits, 18 strikeouts, and 3 balls. Now, online, they got 2 different statistics for Brody Pape in the pitching. depending on which one you're looking at, the first one shows that he does have 4 starts already, over 6 ERA, but then there's another one that's got him as the pitching leader for Okotoks with the 0 ERA. So do apologize, not sure really which stat to look at, but this is the batting order that he's going to have to face. Dom Juicy, Charlie Collins, Joey Marino, the 1, 2, 3 batters, and as I mentioned, he got some of that momentum carrying over from the last couple games, Juicy and, of course, Collins.
And then in the outfield for the Dawgs, Aiden Doherty, Landon Kaufman, Cal Gates. Infield, Eric McCallage, Ricardo Sanchez, Bryant Starr, Nash Kroll, and then behind the plate, Lachlan Mott.
There you go.
There's some names in there.
There's some names in there, absolutely. And Sylvan Lake looking to maybe kickstart this game at home on a good note. Dom Juicy, as I mentioned, coming into today's game, back-to-back homers. Now, he hasn't been starting consistently either. This isn't in the last 3 games that the Gulls have played. This is in his last 3 games that he has made the roster. And it's one of those rosters that it's so hard to make now because you look up and down the lineup, and Sylvan Lake's got a lot of depth pieces that they're throwing in, especially in that center field position.
Yeah, you got a pretty solid 4-man rotation in the outfield. Charlie Collins, Dom Juicy, John Boy Rittenhouse, Elijah Hamill, and then you still got Michael Quick sitting on the bench there who's trying to work his way back in. So it's just the depth, like we've mentioned all season long, that the Gulls have pretty much at every position now.
So a 1-1 count to Juicy to try to get things going as he'll be the leadoff hitter for Sylvan Lake. Starting to get a lot of confidence in that bat. And he hits this in the gap to land for a base hit to lead things off. Talk about confidence. Dom Juicy is riding it right now.
He hit that into such a great spot, just going opposite field and just gets it by the first baseman, Nash Kroll, and makes it a nice single to lead things off, get the fans on your side right away.
A nice opposite field base hit to get her going. And in the last 3 games, he's gone 6 for 11, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. So pretty good. And so has this guy, Charlie Collins, having himself a week, or should I say a couple of weeks, being the Western Canadian Baseball League All-Star. And this is hit right on the ground and a throw over to first. And
I thought it was a line out, but
I thought it was a line out
maybe
as
not.
well. Okay, so they're going to call that a
it sure looked
double
like
play.
one, but
well, they went to second first, so that's what made me think even the second baseman and Bryant Starr kind of sold it that it hit the ground before it hit the glove.
Yeah.
And of course they throw it out at first. Now, because Juicy was not on his bag when they went to check over at first, that's why he was out. So a double play just like that eliminates the base runner. So a 4-3 play there. And Joey Marino at the plate now, 0-1.
And just like that, your momentum's kind of gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's a kind of a simple play, especially if you're Juicy, to stay on that bag over at first.
But it was a hard hit ball there by Collins. Like, he's certainly feeling himself, just wasn't quite to the right spot. It was right to the second baseman.
Well, you know what it was, actually. I think it did hit the ground. They had to throw to second. That's what got Juicy out, and then the first throw to obviously over to first base was in time. So for the double play. So let's watch this again. So we try to catch ourselves up here. Hit, and that doesn't look like it hit the turf, but did it take a bounce before it got there? So there, yeah, double play. They're calling that was hit on the ground. Interesting. So then I guess it would be a 4-6-3 play.
They just called it a ground ball 4-3.
Okay.
Double play. Which he did tag his own base for it.
Yeah, I guess he did, yeah. So 2-2, even count to Marino. Fouls that back. Kind of deja vu from what we saw in the top half of this inning in a sense. Otherwise, it obviously, despite the base hit by Juicy, but as you watch this play, supposedly it hit the ground right before the glove.
Right
I don't know.
That's
a tough angle. That's tough.
Yeah. Like, I can certainly see the case for it doing that.
And a strikeout to Joey Marino. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Okotoks, just in a little bit of a different way. But both defenses are looking solid to start this ball game. Gulls come to the field when we come back.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that connects people from across our province? Something that connects the coffee shop to the spray park, or the brewery to the rodeo, the campground to the sports field. It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is, and it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
Scoreless after the first inning of play between the Gulls and the Okotoks Dawgs. Here's your umpires for tonight. Over at first, a familiar face, Don Busquez. Over at third, you got Brad Johnson. He's going to be the crew chief tonight. And then behind home plate is Lacomb's very own Jeff Chipley, calling balls and strikes. So this will bring up the DH, Jacob Rubleski. He is a very dangerous hitter to also face. I think we could just say that all of them are dangerous. We kind of may have already mentioned that. But Rubleski going to be the leading guy when it comes to home runs in this Okotoks Dawgs dressing room. And he hits it hard on the ground, right to second. Marino picks it up and fires it over to retire one of the dangerous batters of the Okotoks Dawgs in Rubleski.
If you're wondering what his home run rate is based on his hits, it's a little above once every 4 times. So it's pretty much once a game that he's going to hit a home run.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary.
Of his 26 hits, 7 are dingers. That's...
And we talk about guys that aren't going to the All-Star, that should be maybe going to the All-Star. That's one of them.
Yes.
He's not an All-Star. This guy is Nash Crowell, my apologies. As Connor Crowson is an All-Star. Nash Crowell is not. I get these two sometimes mixed up. They're both very good ball players, of course, and they've been with this organization for quite some time. And he's quickly down in the count. 0-2 is Matthew McKenzie. He's got his number. Crowell hitting .365 coming into today's game with 31 RBIs. And he sends this to center field. Dom Juicy settling underneath of it. And he's just going to make it look casual for a grab in outfield.
Yeah, nice easy work for the center fielder right there, Dom Juicy, as this one was popped pretty much straight up, as he was down in the count 0-2 and just did not want to be put away with a K.
So let's bring up Aiden Doherty. He's got 2 down. And Doherty is hitting .400 in 35 at-bats, 9 RBIs, and 2 home runs. So Doherty will try to keep this inning alive, obviously, for the Okotoks Dawgs. And this is going to be one of those games, Scott, you're going to need to play the best complete game you possibly can if you're Sylvan Lake.
Yeah, it starts with your pitching, and certainly he's doing his job so far tonight. And then from there on, you're going to need help from your infielders, your outfielders, whenever they need to get involved in the play.
Obviously, the Okotoks Dawgs are the top team in the most differential against their opponents this year at plus 178. The second team in the league that's got the best differential is the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and they have it at plus 135. This hit softly on the ground right to Graves, who makes the throw, and another perfect 3-up, 3-down inning for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And it's going to just be one of those battles you're going to see all night long. Great scoop from Graves, great throw, and a great out. Sylvan Lake coming to bat next.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Elijah Hamill steps in as the DH and the number 4 batter to lead things off here in the bottom half of the second inning. Great to have you tune in. Scott Stimson, Cale Clark. You are watching Gulls Baseball on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. And Hamill, first pitch swinging, hits it pretty good. Center field, trailing to right center. And getting there is Landon Kaufman for out number 1 on another dangerous batter.
Yeah, Gulls have been pretty aggressive with the bats early on, not letting a whole lot of pitches go by. They only had 10 in the first inning, and Elijah Hamill, first pitch swing, and he got pretty close.
And you know what? It was funny. I was talking to Elijah back after the game against the Energy City Cactus Rats on Sunday, and he said, yeah, I feel like tonight on Sunday was our first time seeing him here at Gulls Field hitting as a right-handed batter, because he's kind of been facing a lot of right-handed pitchers. So he said, yeah, and honestly, he's like, I said, is there a side that you're more favored, is more powerful to you? And he said, honestly, no, but he said, lately, I think it's been my left because I've been hitting so much on the other side of the plate. He said, it used to be my right-handed bat was my strongest. Now he's like, my left-handed seems to be the stronger. And then, of course, he goes to Medicine Hat on Tuesday night, and he knocks one over the fence as a right-handed batter.
Yeah,
so he can do it on either side.
That was just a home run parade. It was started off with Charlie Collins hitting a grand slam, and then back to back to back pretty well.
Another ball hit decently to center field, but again, Landon Kaufman, great positioning, makes the grab for the second straight out.
Yeah, that one wasn't quite hit as hard as Hamill did, but still had some pretty good distance on it, as just had to take a few steps over to his right was Landon Kaufman to record the out.
Now, it's going to be one of those games where you're going to have to hit it pretty solid. So solid, in fact, that it goes into the out, like over the fence, or you're going to have to find the gap somewhere, because anything in the outfield that is relatively up in the air is probably going to be caught. So Tylen Gray's now at the plate, had the big walk-off homer back on Sunday in the second half of that doubleheader against the Energy City Cactus Rats, and he loved it. He soaked up every single minute of it.
He's had a couple big moments here in Sylvan Lake, right at home. And that was certainly one of them. Made up for maybe a little bit of a defensive lapse in the top half of that inning, but boy, he sure made up for it.
He sure did.
You're allowed to make mistakes if you can clean them up.
Yeah, no doubt. Talk about redemption on a whole new level. And Brody Pape is on the mound for the Okotoks Dawgs, just matching pace so far right now. Matthew McKenzie. And that one, we've seen that play many times from the Sylvan Lake Gulls, where it goes right down the line. It's going to be one of those games. They might have to do that.
Yeah, you
got anything to land.
You gotta pick your spots and hit it there, because there's nothing going to be easy. Everyone's in the positions they need to be. They kind of know some tendencies where you like to hit, so you gotta kind of find those gaps and shoot for them.
The even count to Tylen Graves. And it's a strikeout to end the inning. So just kind of like the first inning, Pape does a good job of striking out the last batter he faces at the inning to keep it a 3-up, 3-down inning. Sylvan Lake Gulls, Okotoks Dawgs coming to play in the top of third next.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Yo, you ain't going?
Yes.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
Well, both pitchers so far looking pretty solid. Matthew McKenzie probably with a little bit of the edge, because he's the one that has not yet given up a base hit to such a strong Okotoks Dawgs offensive team. He's still going to, have some batters to face, though. Of course, coming down the stretch here, Eric Matchey, Lachlan Maud, and Bryant Starr are the designated hitters to start this inning. And, of course, it is the bottom of the batting order as well. So Eric Matchey fouls the first pitch he sees off, and that's another thing that you see from both these teams: confident and, of course, not afraid to swing at the first pitch they see.
It also helps that they're throwing strikes, so really, do you have an option? Well,
Yeah.
if you see a good one, you got to swing.
Yeah,
And they're
no
seeing
doubt.
a lot of good ones.
Matchey will find the gap, and just right on cue, I might have jinxed it. First base hit for the Okotoks Dawgs to lead things off.
The good old broadcaster's jinx.
Yeah, I know. I did it to him. I apologize.
But a good spot there. He sees the gap and puts it right in between first and second base. A little bit of an opposite field hit. And that's how the Gulls got on the board.
Yep.
Or at least on the base paths.
Very similar style. Dom Juicy did that to Okotoks already tonight. So that'll bring up Lachlan Maud, and that's the thing you're going to see with these teams. Two similar teams, I think, honestly, when it comes to the level, the skill, the compete. Both these teams, that's why they are where they are in the standings. Similarly built. Of course, Sylvan Lake comes into the league well after Okotoks has been in this league for many, many years. And they've definitely developed a huge rivalry over those 5 seasons, especially when it comes to postseason baseball. And this could be should things go that they have gone in past years, another West Final rematch.
Yeah, that'd be exciting if it gets to that point in the playoffs.
Kenzie finds the zone there, obviously, 3-1. Maud taking all the way.
He's such a big body in the batter's box too, standing at 6'4", 240 pounds. There's a lot of power there.
Yeah, that's a big boy. And he fouls that off to make the count now full. And he'll get the walk. So Matthew McKenzie walks the first batter that he has done all night. And there's 2 base runners on for the Okotoks Dawgs.
Yeah,
0 outs.
Good patience for Maud, seeing 3 balls and then making him pitch to him, saw a strike, and then fought one off, and then watches another one slip outside the zone to earn his way to first base.
So Bryant Starr will round things out in the batting order. Second baseman, he made that great snag off the turf. That eliminated the Sylvan Lake Gulls' momentum in that first inning.
Was showing bunt there, so he's looking to advance the runners at minimum here with no outs. That's probably one of the smart things to do in what looks like it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take anything possible to get things moving, and this hits it right up the middle, and a great catch and a great throw over to second for out number 1 by Tylen Graves. You got to be kidding me.
How many times have we said it where we're impressed that he just gets to the ball, let alone can make a play? Look at this dive right behind second base, flips it over to Joey Marino and records the out. That's so impressive.
That's a major league play right there.
Yes.
That is an absolutely outstanding and very needed, of course, for the Sylvan Lake Gulls to eliminate a bases loaded situation. Wow. Wasn't that something to watch?
Put that on the highlight reel for the kid.
That will be definitely one of the highlights, I would think, the league might even be looking at for over the course of the week. That was pretty.
The Gravedigger's back in action.
The Gravedigger is back. He walks things off on Sunday, and he just keeps it going. The runner's on the corner now, and this ball hit pretty good into shallow left center field. Giusti will get there, and he's going to make the long throw. Here it comes at the plate, and they did not get him. What a toss by Dom Giusti. Reese Sherman made the tag, but Eric Matchey comes in and slides around the tag just in the nick of time. But look at this dart by Giusti. Watch the replay here. Yeah, he just got his left hand on.
That's a great slide there to come in to score, but also you got to tip your cap to Dom Giusti. That's a close play. Maybe if it's a little bit more online, he gets him, but he got it right to home plate. That's about all he can ask for.
Did he ever? Wow. That was close. And you know what? Great call by Jeff Chipley. He saw it. He was right there. Of course, the Sylvan Lake Gulls fan base and the bench did not like the call, but you gotta.
There's a lot of boo birds, that's for sure.
But you gotta, you know what? Give Chipley credit. That was the right call. Watching the replay, and that ball just goes foul. Great effort by Jaden Flores to try to get there in time.
Yeah, he almost ran into that one.
He almost did. He almost got under that in time. Like, look at this. This ball probably wouldn't be close to the average guy, but Flores was sure close. Took a good stab at it.
Yeah, maybe another stride or two away from that one.
Wow.
But the defense is certainly looking to help out their pitcher. He's had a really good start.
So the throw got there in time. It was just that where the tag was on the runner that just didn't get him in time. Now, if Sherman can somehow catch that ball, turn quicker, and tag the arm or the hand before it gets to home plate, different story. But because he tagged him kind of on the waist, hand was already on the plate by that point. So great, great throw. We've seen some good plays in this inning, and that goes right up the middle, just missing McKenzie. And another base hit, and Justy's going to fire it in. Of course, maybe Bryant Starr testing that arm yet again. And I think if you're Okotoks, you're going to probably write that down like, all right, we know our breathing room with Dom Justy where he can throw from.
Yeah, maybe we don't run on Dom Justy because, man, we were really close at home plate, and it looks like he would have had us easily at third base there.
So let's bring up Landon Kaufman. Okotoks Dawgs now with a 1-0 lead over the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Again, some good base running by the Dawgs. Some good hitting put together here in this inning as well. And
well, that's part of it too. You don't want to, take things for granted. You kind of got to stay on the base paths if your bats are going to start to heat up. You don't want to be that third out of the inning. Especially in what's a really close ball game as well.
It's going to be that way, I feel, for most of this night. You gotta be kind of conservative, if you will, when you're playing good teams like this. And you notice that I've noticed that over the years, Sylvan Lake, when they're at bat, their base running, especially in recent years where they've been a little bit more aggressive to steal, when they play Okotoks, you don't see that as often. You don't see them try to push the limits. The small ball doesn't happen as often.
There's some teams that you can push the envelope with, but the ones that are really good, that are borderline perfect every game, it's hard to do that.
Yeah. McKenzie will foul this off. Now an even count to Kaufman with 2 down. 1 run has come in to score. Okotoks with runners at first and second. And we have had a great start to this ball game. In case you're just tuning in, Scott Stimson, Cale Clark with you on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. You missed quite a bit already. Some good plays. And that ball hit foul again to stay alive. Busy crowd on Toga night here on this beautiful Thursday evening in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. We had it show you in the pregame show, the Humidex, feeling like 31 degrees Celsius, that is, outside. And this ball hit with the runners on the move. It was a hit and run play, and they score their second run of the game. And that is what the Okotoks Dawgs can do so well, is on the run, a hit and run play executed. If that wasn't a hit and run, chances are you maybe don't even score that second run.
Yeah, that's a tough play to pull off. You see some teams try to pull off the hit and run, but you have to be able to hit it. A lot of times it gets fouled off, and the Dawgs made no mistake. They said, we're going to put this wherever we can. If we have to go opposite field, we will, and that's what they did to earn that run.
So 3 hits, 2 runs, the Okotoks Dawgs. We get a meeting on the mound from Matt Hape to try to kind of settle everybody down and get this final out. That's just what happens, Okotoks. And that's another thing. I feel, you watch the box scores, you look at how Okotoks could play against other teams, you definitely know when they bring it to Sylvan Lake. They definitely bring their A game, as does kind of what we were talking about the other night, Energy City doing kind of similar things, where some teams just love to match up against other teams. And it seems like Okotoks always likes to bring their best foot forward when it comes to playing the Sylvan Lake Gulls.
There's some teams that adjust their play to who they're playing.
Yes.
They may like punch above their weight, but when they play teams not as good, they might kind of punch down to them and be on their level. But Okotoks is a team that's always in tip-top shape. They're going to hang around with everyone and probably beat everyone.
That's why they're the best team right now in the West Division. 28 wins and 10 losses on the year so far. So Jacob Rubleski with a runner at third, a runner at first, wanting to keep the inning alive, 2 down. This is a big batter to try to get out in a crucial moment of the inning and the game. And this ball hit hard up, a 2 dribbler right to Marino, makes the throw. And it's in time, so a big out for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. However, the Okotoks Dawgs, they do get some good bats in play. But how about this play by Tyler Graves for out number 1 of the inning? That was something to watch. We'll be on replay again down the road.
Get ready for the sweetest baseball event in Canada. All the very best players from around the WCBL will be in the very best city for the 2026 All-Star Weekend. Don't be sour. Get your tickets to the summer's biggest baseball event now.
This July, the Okotoks Dawgs and Baseball Canada will host the Road to Okotoks and the Morneau Cup National Championship at the Siemens Stadium Complex from July 14th to 19th. Come watch the top 16 youth baseball teams from across the country. These are the future stars of Canadian baseball, tomorrow's collegiate standouts and professional players, all chasing a national championship. Don't miss a week of elite competition, unforgettable moments, and the future of Canadian baseball in Okotoks.
Well, I'm sweating in the broadcast booth. I can only imagine what these folks are feeling down on field level, berms, in the seats. Yeah, it is a hot, gorgeous night here in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. Where else would you rather be than the ballpark, watching some top Western Canadian Baseball League matchups?
I have to say I'm pretty jealous of all the people with
The
beers
cold
in their
beverages.
seats and maybe in their hands. And
Yeah,
it's one of those nights where those would feel really good.
Those probably go down pretty smooth on a night like tonight, absolutely. But Brody Pape still on the mound for the Okotoks Dawgs, and looking to kind of keep the Gulls at bay because the Dawgs have now struck. Will the Sylvan Lake Gulls finally maybe put the bats together? We've already seen a base hit from Sylvan Lake, and they got Coleman Perry, Reese Sherman, and Jaden Flores to lead things off here in the bottom half of the third inning.
These are kind of the guys that you want to start the process of getting things going, turn it back over to the top of the lineup where you have your dangerous hitters.
Perry also a patient guy at the plate. He knows his pitch, not afraid to wait for it. That one inside, down low, 3-0 the count to Perry. Well, 4-pitch walk. Don't see that very often from Okotoks.
No, but you take it when you can get it. Now you just got to keep next man up mentality. Just keep clogging up the base paths and getting some hits here. Bounce back in this game and try to even things up.
That'll bring up Reese Sherman, the catcher. His first at bat of the night. Just found out that he is going to be representing the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the home run derby, which is a little bit of a surprise because Elijah Ham will also go in. You think maybe that guy would be the big hitter, but the teams do decide who they send to which category, and of course they discussed and they made a decision for a reason, maybe reasons that we don't know, obviously, because there's a lot that goes in behind the scenes, and sometimes you wonder if that was a decision made internally.
Well, you look at their bunt derby contestant as well. He's a guy who could be in the home run derby, Maddox Shaver. As that's a kind of neat little contest that they have. So
Yeah,
he's the best bunter.
That's I think that's a first that they're bringing that to the WCBL as well. So Saskatoon, not only being the first time they're hosting the All-Star, but they're bringing something new in too. So
Should be a very good time up there.
It should be a very great time. Yeah, exactly. That ball goes foul. Yeah, exactly. I wonder what, I would love just to go to a game in Saskatoon and just see the marketing, see the meals that they have, the drinks that they serve. I bet there's a lot of Saskatoon cocktails that they might make up there as well. And I'd just be interested to see all of it, really. Sherman lifts this into shallow right field, and that will drop in the glove of Cal Gates for out number 1.
Yeah, Sherman tries to send it into a deep part of the field, but it's caught easily by the right fielder, and Coleman Perry's not going to push anything with only that being the first out. Don't need to try to stretch things into a sketchy situation.
Well, this will round out the batting order. Jaden Flores, who comes in late in the season. He's only had 17 at-bats, but he's hitting .353 so far as a Gull this summer. 7 RBIs, 1 homer, and 6 hits in just those 17 at-bats. This is his 6th game in the lineup since visiting back here in Sylvan Lake.
He's fit right back into the lineup for the Gulls.
Yeah, has he ever. And a great arm over at the hot corner at third. As he fouls this back, he's quickly down in the count, 0-2. It's a strikeout to Flores. So a good pitch there as the weight from Brody Pape, a little bit of a delayed delivery, does the job, and it's a kind of a really tough one for Flores to take as that dropped right into the turf. Had a lot of movement on it.
Yeah, threw the kitchen sink at him right there, and that's the 3rd straight inning that the 3rd batter that he's faced, he struck out. It's just the first time that's not what gets him out of the inning.
Yeah, exactly. So Dom Juicy takes first pitch in for a called strike. 1 for 1 on the night before being thrown out on a double play. And he'll foul that back now, 0-2. I mentioned he's gone 6 for 11 in his last 3. But so far on the season, he's hitting .241. He's got 12 RBIs, 3 homers. 2 of those 3 coming into the last 2 games. And he fouls that off to stay alive. Another thing that to take note on with Brody Pape is the kid has kind of worked pretty efficient. I mean, he's only had 33 pitches so far, and this is about his 3rd inning of work, so about 10 pitches an inning.
Yeah, this is the most he's had to work with, 14 pitches so far, and it's because he's faced an extra batter, essentially, with the walk.
And Juicy is not going down easy.
No. Staying alive, fighting things off, 0-2 count. Kind of the stance you have to take in that position.
Another one, just a defensive swing on that one. Juicy's not taking anything for balls right now. He's just putting contact on everything. Waiting for his right pitch. And a broken bat right off the swing, and the pitcher will be able to drop it dead in front of him and make the throw over to first in time for out number 3 as we take a look at the replay here. Shattered bat right on the hit, and it hits the pitcher in Brody Pape, but does a good job to recover and throw in time to end this inning. Just the 1 base runner, 0 runs. Dawgs lead it 2-0. Welcome back to Gulls Baseball right here on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Cale Clark, Scott Stimson in the broadcast booth. Also joining us from Scotiabank is the Sylvan Lake branch manager, Brittany Evans. Brittany, thanks so much for taking time of your night to come chat with us.
No worries.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Now, some cool things. Scotiabank being here, obviously, on a night like tonight. Okotoks Dawgs in town. Now, you guys are here for a special reason, and of course that is the Birdie Bash. The Sylvan Lake Gulls annual Birdie Bash is this Monday, and Scotiabank decided to do something really special this year. Can you explain what you guys decided to do this year?
Yeah, so through our Scotia Team Communities program, we're depending on the amount of employees we can get involved. We have over 101 employees involved in this initiative.
Okay.
So we're able to match any funds raised at this event up to $75,000 to go right back to the Gulls Give Foundation.
Okay, so that's huge because, and you said you guys will donate and match up to $75,000. So obviously we saw it earlier in the game. We ought to see you with the first pitch. And now, what was that like to throw a ceremonial first pitch? Was that the first time you've ever done something like that before?
It was a little nerve-wracking, but I had fun. It was good.
You did great. You did great. What was your thoughts with maybe the throw? We get to take a look at it here again, and you know what? That's a good arm. You got it there. Is it a little bit of a longer distance than what you expected?
I'm going to be honest. I think what messed me up a little bit was I'm not going to lie. I practiced all week.
Oh, no.
And I measured out 60 feet.
Wow.
Went back to 65, and then they're like, move up. So I was like, uh-oh. Now I can't overthrow, and there's people looking at me. But
you should just
we made it through.
You should have been like, this is why I practice. Just let me throw where I'm supposed to throw from. I want to do it. Oh, that's great. That's dedication, by the way, to practice all week. You really get your mind set and ready for this one. Well, it's great to have you join us, and thanks so much for everything you guys do. This is a well-hit ball right up the middle by Nash Crowell to lead things off here in the fourth inning. And the Dawgs aren't going away anytime soon as Nash Crowell hits this right over the head of Matthew McKenzie. Just be happy you're not having a hitter hit one right back at you like that. That wouldn't be fun, would it?
No.
Exactly. So, Scotiabank, tell us a little bit about what Scotiabank likes to do, especially in the Sylvan Lake community.
So I met with Mayor Megan, actually, which is how I came across the Gulls Give Foundation. I've heard about the foundation, but I really learned a lot about it from her, and I was just looking for the way to make the biggest impact in the community, and I felt that this was one of those ways. So
I love it. That's great stuff there. And this is Aiden Doherty that will be leading things off here after a base hit by Nash Crowell, and we are still 0 down here in the top half of the fourth inning. And again, great to have you tune in to Gulls Baseball on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Brittany Evans, the Sylvan Lake Scotiabank branch manager, joining us. And there's a strikeout for Matthew McKenzie on Aiden Doherty. As we take a look at the replay here on our monitor, and yes, nice pitch that just kind of sinks down low and in for a strike. So I got to ask you, Brittany, are you a baseball fan yourself? Have you played the game yourself at all or anything like that, or watched many games yourself as of late?
Definitely watched in Sylvan Lake. Play some beer league softball, but
I love it. On these diamonds behind us here, or what?
No, in Penhold, actually.
Oh, in Penhold, okay,
yes.
Gotcha. And that's going to be another base hit. That's a looper that goes right to right field. Eric Matchey getting on the board. Now he's 2 for 2 on the night, and another great piece of hitting by the Okotoks Dawgs. How many games would you say you have made here in total since the Gulls have been in Sylvan Lake? Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know? Is there a number that you can think of, or is it pretty high?
I don't know the number. I
enough.
feel like there's definitely some really amazing fans here who can beat my number, but I know that we have a blast every time we do make it out.
I love it. Lachlan Maud now here at the plate for the Okotoks Dawgs. Now, Birdie Bash is on Monday. Is Scotiabank doing anything that's directly involved with this Birdie Bash on Monday, other than the the big donation?
So we are the dinner sponsor. We're going to have some golfers out there.
Nice.
I'll be on hole 1 with some other managers from Central Alberta. Have some prizes to give away, some games to play, and just going to have fun.
That's going to be a great time. Scott and myself will be there, by the way. It's
Yes.
this Monday, July 20th, in case you're tuning in right now and you're watching at home and you're in the area. Actually, Sylvan Lake is still looking for some teams to sign up. So if you are a business owner or you're just an individual and you want to come, you want to take part, you want to be a sponsor, or you want to play in the golf tournament, they are still accepting some teams to be drawn into this tournament. So definitely check it out. You can go to sylvanlakegulls.com to find out more information, and of course anything that maybe we don't know here at the Gulls organization that Scotiabank likes to really send a big message out for Sylvan Lake and Central Alberta. Is there something that you guys like to do, or is there any kind of recruiting that you guys like to do in certain times of the season, anything like that?
We just like to make as big of an impact as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why we're not just going to pull a sponsorship and just give money. We want to be involved in the community. We want to be involved in the process, and we want to match those funds to make the biggest impact possible.
Well, here's a big double play to end the inning. The Sylvan Lake Gulls get out of the inning, keeping the Dawgs just to a 2-0 lead. And we want to thank you, Brittany, so much for joining us up in the broadcast booth and chatting with us about Scotiabank. And again, thank you for the contribution that Scotiabank will be providing to the Birdie Bash this Monday.
Of course, thank you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brittany from Scotiabank will be back with more Gulls baseball next. Charlie Collins leading things off here for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Still 2-0. The Dawgs lead it. Sylvan Lake trying to get themselves on the board in this ball game. 5 hits. Okotoks has definitely been getting the bats going against Matthew McKenzie. Sylvan Lake kind of still trying to figure out Brody Pape, who has been pretty solid already so far tonight. A few strikeouts himself, and he's got a strikeout in an inning. So,
yeah, pretty good pace for him tonight, and I'm not saying that it's easy work for him, but he's working his way through around 10 pitches per inning, so he's doing his job, that's for sure.
Well, we talk about Charlie Collins and, how he's been such an impact since coming over. The kid from Australia he had that big impact instantly for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and he is just fitting in so well, hitting .405, 21 RBIs, 3 homers, in 24 runs scored in 74 at-bats. But he does go down with a strikeout here in the fourth inning. as he takes a good cut at that one, but a good movement. And even the pitcher, Brody Pape, turns around and he's got the, ooh, that was filthy look. So he's feeling it tonight. He is absolutely feeling it. That might be I don't even know. That's probably the right word, feeling it.
Well, it's such a field position too. Like, generally you got it or you don't sort of thing. And when you got it, like, you're pretty much on cruise control, looking like you can do whatever you want out there. And that's what he's done. He's given up the first hit of the game, first batter, Dom Giusti, and then a walk since. It's not much that he's allowed on the base paths.
So 1-1 the count now to Joey Marino. Elijah Hamill is on deck. Maybe he'll get the party started for Sylvan Lake. Joey Marino also can send one over that fence. Fouls it back. 1-2. Marino also with a walk-off. Just a walk-off single that ended a ball game not that long ago.
There's quite a few guys in this lineup who have had a walk-off hit of some form for the Gulls.
Yeah, and that can kind of come in those clutch moments. So like that kind of gets you excited, especially when there's, you know, key moments and key opportunities in postseason baseball, or, you know, big games that matter like this one, as Nash Kroll will tag his base for out number 2.
Yeah, the Dawgs just keep rolling along there. Nice little ground ball to first base for an easy put out.
So Elijah Hamill steps in, flew out to center field. His last at bat was the first pitch swinging. 341 is what he's hitting this season. 18 RBIs. Last 3 games he's gone 3 for 9, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. And of course, when you get pitching like you are with Okotoks with your starter, and this is what usually Okotoks does, and this is what they can usually get away with, they can get a pitcher to take them at least to 5-6 innings before they have to open the revolving door of the bullpen. And that fastball just misses Hamill inside.
Yeah, that was coming in pretty quickly there on Hamill. Luckily, didn't hit him. That would have stung a little bit.
That would have really stung. Again, he tries to kind of come inside, but a little bit further away from Hamill this time to get him swinging on it. 2-1. And Hamill likes those insides, obviously. He turns on them pretty quick. Hard to face a left-hander like this. And he goes outside. So 3-1. Two down. 2-0. Dawgs lead it. Bottom of 4. Elijah Hamill at the plate. And he will get a walk. Keep this inning alive. That's only the second walk that Pape has given up on the evening.
Yeah, well earned. He kept his eye on it. Wasn't really looking to swing at anything, and he had a lot of stuff come inside, so not even really a half thought about swinging.
So here's John Boy Rittenhouse. Flew out to center field his last at bat. He's been busy also tonight in left field. Starting this ball game, he was the first 2 outs. And he hits this hard on a rope, center field, going all the way back. It's out of here! Go, Johnny, go! This ball game is tied.
That's 2 more ribeyes going on the grill for Rittenhouse, as he had that one labeled to the farthest part in this ball field. Center field. That one just kept carrying. It looked like Kaufman had a chance, and then he just ran into the wall. That was it. The home run for Rittenhouse, and all of a sudden, we're back to even.
Wow, that was an absolute bomb by John Boy Rittenhouse.
That's the kind of 2-out rally you're looking for.
That was huge. And so this will bring up Tylen Graves the shortstop. And he swings, missing the first pitch he sees. Trying to keep that momentum going. The 2-out rally comes big for the Sylvan Lake Gulls.
And that's the importance of just being on base for this Gulls lineup, because anyone can have that kind of power.
And a lazy swing there by Graves. And it's a strikeout to Tylen Graves. So, you know, good, I guess, recovery by the Okotoks Dawgs, but the Sylvan Lake Gulls walk Elijah Hamill, and then they pay the ultimate price because John Boy Rittenhouse absolutely has a bat in him. Barrel on ball. See you later. This game's tied heading into the 5th. We talk about this kid a lot, and for good reason, because John Boy Rittenhouse always seems to be the guy to come in when it matters most, to be the guy to get things going, to be the guy to come in clutch situations. Always finds himself involved in basically every single baseball game this kid plays. It's not very often John Boy Rittenhouse stays quiet in a given night.
No, and it's usually around, this point in the game where, the clutch moments start showing up, and that's when he arrives. And he's now leading the Gulls in a couple categories. One of them was RBIs. He's up to 42 now, and that was his 8th home run, which is now the lead for the Gulls in the home run department.
Wow. Wouldn't know it. Home run lead and RBI lead. And he's got now, let's see, 42 RBIs on the season.
On 41 hits. That's pretty much a RBI per hit, which is pretty good.
Yeah. And again, we talk about the All-Star break coming up this weekend. John Boy Rittenhouse may have gotten, hot too little too late, but not even too little too late. He was hot kind of most of the season. It's just, I don't know, I guess the numbers weren't there until the last 3 weeks. That's when he really started to pile things on. And you got to wonder, this kid's got to be close to making that WCBL Player of the Week talk as well, because he always seems to perform every single week for this organization. So,
do you think maybe there could be some MVP style talks too?
I think so,
with
absolutely.
The clutch hitting like that, he's obviously a key contributor to the Gulls and one of the better hitters in this league anyways.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that, 100%. I mean, there's a lot of great, obviously, players that come out of this league. We're seeing it year after year after year, and it's getting better and better and better. Like, we were talking with the coaching staff, the Okotoks Dawgs earlier, and even them, we were talking about how this league is just pumping out more and more guys that are getting involved in the major league level. We obviously saw the draft happen just recently, and we saw another WCBLer go high in the rankings at Carter Beck, the Saskatoon Berries. So, and of course, Okotoks has pumped a good numbers of guys. Tristan Peters.
Yes.
Speaking of MVPs, that's a guy that's an all-star.
Yes, MLB All-Star, hit the cycle going into the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And then you got the tugboat, Matt Wilkinson, as well, working his way up through the leagues.
And I believe Tristan Peters, as this is lifted to Charlie Collins to make the catch. out number 1 in right field. Peters was a MVP in the WCBL in the 2019 season, I believe.
Yes, that sounds right. That was the year that I was following the Dawgs on the beat path of Sportsnet 960 The Fan, which also no longer on the airwaves, which that's a heartbreaker for the broadcasting world. It's been a tough week in the broadcasting industry.
Yeah, it definitely
between some layoffs between Rogers and now Chorus today as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's not because for instance, we're happy to have fans like you watching, because without fans like you at home right now watching broadcasts like this, we wouldn't have a job.
No.
So thank you, fans, for tuning in to Gulls Baseball and FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. We don't hope to go anywhere anytime soon, that's for sure. It's Matthew McKenzie and the Okotoks Dawgs currently tied 2-2. 1-1 here to Ricardo Sanchez, back to the top of the batting order. Had a good chance to catch up with him a little bit this year, and he says to me, "You're back for another season." I'm like, I should be saying the same thing to you. You're back for another summer. So it's kind of funny. Ricardo Sanchez has basically been with the Dawgs as long as I've been with the Gulls, which has been since day one of this organization starting up in 2021.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure your paths are pretty similar. I remember interviewing him in 2019 for Sportsnet 960 because he had a heck of a game, and at that point, he was just a young little rookie in the league.
Yeah, and now look at him. Yeah,
yes.
He's one of the elite players in this league. And he goes down looking. Matthew McKenzie with a strikeout, just his second one of the night. And it's been tough work for Matthew McKenzie, but he puts a really good pitch on inside up high on Sanchez.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for him, but you look at the scoreboard, it's a 2-2 game, and he's kept himself in it, got a couple strikeouts now. He's starting to pick up the pace a little bit here, and I think that inning-ended double play kind of helped him out a little bit, kind of re-energize himself.
Now the question is, who comes in after McKenzie to kind of keep the Dawgs at bay? Because what Matthew McKenzie has done so far here tonight has been extraordinary, and he's been doing a really good job to, keep this hot offensive team to, a minimum of 5 hits and 2 runs. So it's going to be interesting to see how the bullpen can, back this performance up. They're going to need a full bullpen performance here tonight. And again, they do it all over again tomorrow night as well, as it's a home-and-home 2-game series between these two teams. And you got the bullpen looking pretty casual right now, but the one standing with the ball in his hand is Seth Mahler. And you know what? That's a pretty good guy to throw in a situation like this, I would think, if he is going to come in. And yeah, I think he has been throwing, so it's it's promising. I think they got a good bullpen now, and they've added a few more arms now recently as well. So they saw one of those arms actually throw a few innings, get a perfect start, no runs earned. As that ball is fouled off. So a full count here to Cal Gates. 1 for 2 on the night. He had a base hit back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Zach Foden and Jackson Zanoli, the two most recent Gulls. Between the two of them, 3 innings pitched, no runs.
Yep.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah. New guys this summer now that have come back. Zanoli back, but it's awesome to see. This is hit on the ground, a dribbler to Tylen Graves, makes the throw, and there is the 3rd out. So another 3-up, 3-down inning. In fact, the 3rd one of the night for Matthew McKenzie and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. They'll come to bat in the bottom of the 5th with this game tied 2-2. Coleman Perry leading things off here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Tie game 2-2 between the Okotoks Dawgs and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Dawgs out hitting the Gulls 5-2, but that one hit for the Sylvan Lake Gulls did the damage. Nice 2-run shot by John Boy Rittenhouse, and they come back defensively and put up a goose egg for the Okotoks Dawgs. So some good things turning in the right direction here for Sylvan Lake potentially. Coleman Perry looking to keep it going. And he got on base with the walk back in the 3rd.
It's kind of been 2 different styles. The Dawgs kind of putting a string of hits and walks together to earn their runs. And
this hit on the ground softly, and a soft throw by the pitcher. But he gets the out in time on Coleman Perry as Brody Pape kind of just lobs one over to Nash Kroll.
Yeah, that almost came out of his hand a little bit weird. He just kind of got under that one, but luckily makes it over to the first base to Kroll in time. But to finish my previous thought, the Gulls are doing it with the long bomb to kind of keep things interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what's funny? There's that common debate too. I just want to go back to that play by the pitcher. There's always the common debate with the pitchers when they throw to first to try to, beat the runner with the throw. Some of them will do it so casually that you almost would rather them just whip it into the arm, whip it into the glove, because if you lob it, that's sometimes when their accuracy comes off. They try to finesse it too much, and then they will overthrow it, or they'll miss their target. And so you gotta, it's always that common debate. If you're a pitcher, do you throw hard? Do you throw softly? Obviously, the underhand is the ideal play if you can get it there in time. But yeah, you gotta kind of be confident with that throw, or else you might run into some error issues.
And they're not your typical throws either, because generally they're coming in or they're kind of going towards first base. So that kind of cuts your time that you have to get it there, because you're that much closer to first. Whereas if you're kind of going third base side, you don't really have any reason not to just throw it right over.
Yeah. So here's 2-1 count to Reese Sherman, and he'll pop that back. Evening the count, 2-2. Now full count to Sherman. He's going to be representing the home run derby for the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the 2026 All-Star Weekend in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And this might be why, but that goes foul. That left in a hurry, opposite field, but it was a little bit right of the line. If he puts that, 50 yards to the left, that's another run scored for the Gulls. That was smashed off the end of the bat.
That certainly was. Maybe if it's not quite off the end of the bat, it gets there too.
Yeah. Turns on it down the third base line, and Matches has a tough time fielding that ball, and the throw goes back to the warning track, but a recovery there made by Bryant Starr coming all the way over to get to that ball, so it didn't allow Sherman to take an extra base, but Eric Matthew just had a tough time scooping up that ball and then trying to hurry the throw. Throws it past Nash Kroll, and a great recovery by the second baseman, Bryant Starr, to come all the way over. Like, that's a long distance for him to recover, but he kind of had a feeling after watching Matchy maybe struggle with that pickup that, okay, I better get there just in case this throws off the line, and sure enough, it was.
Yeah, you kind of see that ball when you go, uh-oh, this is gonna be in a hurry, because we kind of have to. And good heads-up play for him to back it up, and that only allows Sherman to take first base instead of going all the way to second.
So that's going to be the first error of the ball game, and it's going to go to the third baseman, Eric Matchy. So Jaden Flores now at the dish. Runner on, and here it is here. Let's watch from way back here. Watch the second baseman, how far he goes. He just puts on a sprint here, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to get back in case this misses. And sure enough, because he had a good start and a good lead on that ball, it didn't allow Reese Sherman to turn for second.
But you also look at that, and you got to tip your hat off to Sherman. If he's not coming flying out of the gates there, that's maybe an uncontested play. So that's why you kind of always got to run all the way hard as you can to first base, because you just never know.
That's why you always, finish out the run. Kids, that's why you run hard all the way through, no matter what. Jaden Flores up the count 2-1, and he takes that one even the count 2-2. Ball fouled back. So lots of people in attendance here tonight. We'll get to the groups here in just a moment, as there's a number of groups in attendance here tonight, including Eagle Builders. They're out on the patio, filling the entire patio with their employees and their families.
What a night to be on the patio.
Oh, I know, right?
Just beautiful.
Yeah, this is a great picnic area. Great picnic night. Flores lifts this into right shallow field, and it's going to be caught by the second baseman, Brian Starr, coming all the way over again. That kid likes to make up ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got the wheels. We saw it earlier backing up to play at first base, and this one he comes flying off his bag and over towards almost foul territory. It's a lot of ground that he had to cover, but he makes it there no problem. It looks like the Dawgs might be making the move to the bullpen here.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our groups here tonight as we watch a new pitcher come in. So, yes, we got Eagle Builders, employees and their families. They're over in the patio right now. You got the Sylvan Lake Mariners Navy Team U13 AA, the 11U AA Old Spitfires, 13U AA Red Deer Camas Rangers, the U11 Clive Coyotes, and then, of course, from your neck of the woods, Scott, is the Koliak Cooks, who are right beside us in the suite next door. They're all the way from Dutchess, Alberta. So that's near your neck of the woods. Great to see all the groups in attendance here tonight. But let's take a break. We'll watch this new pitcher come in to warm up. We'll be back with more Gulls baseball in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Well, our first pitching change we'll see of the night goes to the Okotoks Dawgs, and this is Braken Rice coming in, number 37. He comes from Clarksville, Tennessee. Faulkner University is where he goes to school in the winter, and he's going to look to end this inning with a runner over at first, and that is Dom Giusti.
Brody Pape made his way through the lineup exactly twice. So we saw 18 batters, only giving up 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts to his name, and 68 pitches in 4 2/3. So a pretty efficient evening for him.
A great night by him. Ball is popped up right behind home plate. Is it going to stay in? And it will. A good catch there behind the dish. by Lachlan Maud to end this inning. So just the one runner stranded by the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Game remains tied 2-2 heading in to the top of the sixth with a great catch by Lachlan Maud in foul territory. Well, there's a new pitcher on the mound. Now Sylvan Lake will go to the bullpen for the first time tonight. So we saw Braken Rice. Now we're going to see Seth Mahler come into the mound and into this ball game for Sylvan Lake, as Mahler is going to keep this tough batting offense at bay.
Yeah, Matthew McKenzie did his job. 5 innings pitched, had 20 batters faced, 2 strikeouts, a walk, 5 hits, 2 runs given up, and he exits the game in a tie ball game. So a pretty solid start for him tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely did the job. Gave his team a fighting chance in this one. So this is Lannon Kaufman leading things off. And he's got an RBI already tonight, RBI single, and then he rounded out in the first inning. Oh, 0-2. Mahler's quickly up on Kaufman. And it's a strikeout for his first batter faced for Seth Mahler. 3-pitch strikeout, just like that.
Yeah, Seth Mahler, he's ready to come into this game. He knows his job, and 3 pitches. That one, 88 miles an hour to finish it off. And that's just laughable. Like, that's coming into the game and knowing what you need to do and getting it done.
And delivering 19 strikeouts he's got now on the season, a 2.22 ERA. He's just given up 24 hits, 6 earned runs in over 24 innings of work, and he's got 2 saves under his belt, 3-0. That's what his win-loss record is. So, yeah, he's pretty good. And he's just wheeling and dealing right now. Absolutely delivering. 4 straight pitches, 4 straight strikes. And there's a check swing, but appeal down to Don Buska says nope, he did not go around. But he almost did.
Yeah.
Even with a pitch like that, Wróblewski still almost went around on it. Wróblewski is 0 for 2 on the night. And a good swing there. head shake by Wroblewski saying, okay, you got me on that one. Good pitch. That one really broke away from him.
And that's similar to the last pitch that he threw, just this time he got it a lot closer to the strike zone.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch. And a strikeout again for Seth Mahler. Well, 7 pitches, 6 strikes. Not bad from your pitcher coming in relief.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It goes 3 straight curveballs right there. The first one missing as a ball, and then, well, when you make him look silly on his swing, you may as well keep throwing it.
So that'll bring up Nash Kroll, who has a base hit, and he flew out 1 for 2. And that curveball is working for him.
77 just floats his way over and just disappears down to the dirt.
Yeah, or in the catcher's glove, one of the two.
Yeah, it's moving well for him tonight.
Freeman again on the outside. This time he kind of comes in with a fastball to the outside. Had a little bit of a drop in it and the movement.
Just got to play with the hitter's timing. He's thrown quite a few curveballs, so you just want to make sure he's not timed up to it yet.
Yeah, and there he comes back again. Back-to-back fastballs.
When you got 2 pitches that are working like that, that's a hard guessing game. Okay, well, is it going to be an off speed? Is it going to be moving? Is this going to heat up? Like,
good grab off the dirt there by Sherman. Now even in the count to Kroll. 2-2, tie game, 2-2. It's a lot of 2s.
Yeah, a lot
in this inning. And somebody in the crowd says swing as he delivers that pitch. But it's way outside. Easy take there for Kroll to take. But now a full count.
Fan had his timing right. Just maybe not the location.
Yeah, exactly. Wanted it. He really did. And this ball will be hit up the middle right to center field as Dom Giusti takes a one-hopper into the glove. And that's what Nash Kroll does. He has the patience and he waits. And he can deliver when he needs to. And I don't think we've seen it yet, a Sylvan Lake All pitcher strike out the side. At least here at home this year. And it was so close, and I was kind of waiting. And we've been in this situation so many times, Scott, where the pitcher gets up, 2 strikeouts right away, and then that third one just can't find a way to put out that final batter. That's a tough batter to put away, too, in Nash Kroll.
He was certainly waiting for his pitch. He's waiting for that fastball, something that he knows he can hit because it's not moving away on him.
So Aiden Doherty, 0 for 2 on the night. Sherman stops that in front of him. It's now 2 consecutive balls. That's the most that Mahler has thrown all night, consecutively, that is. First time he's behind the count. Good pitch there. Fastball inside. 2-1.
Yeah, he seems to be able to go to the old reliable fastball if he needs to kind of work his way back into the count there.
And Nash Kroll's got a really good lead, trying to play a little cat and mouse, and it worked with Mahler, trying to throw Mahler off his game. Not sure how many stolen bases Kroll will go. I don't think he's one to really steal, but it definitely did enough to kind of, with the long shadow too, that kind of can play a little bit with a pitcher's mind. And now they'll throw down to first just to kind of keep him in check.
Yeah, the shadow's just kind of long enough that you probably just see it out of your peripherals there because it's pretty much right in line with the mound. And especially with the rubber as he kind of gets out to his lead.
And that's kind of what Nash Kroll wants to do. He wants to get into Mahler's head a little bit. And this off-speed dribbles right to Flores. Nice scoop with the throw and in time for out number 3. So just the one base hit, but some incredible pitching by the reliever. And Seth Mahler has the curveball working for him. And the Gulls still tied, heading to the bottom of 6. Well, that revolving door that we talk about with the Okotoks Dawgs in that bullpen, I think is starting to open. Another new pitcher on the mound, the third pitcher of the ball game. That is number 24, Joe McBride. Although according to their roster card that we have in paper that the coaches fill in, 24 is left blank. So that's fun. But
gotta check all the resources.
We figured it out eventually.
Pretty quick night for Bracken Rice. A third of an inning, 2 pitches.
Yep.
Got us out.
That's kind of what the Okotoks Dawgs do. They got good pitching staff, and they can rotate guys in.
Just needed to get through that 5th inning, I guess.
And so, you know, there's definitely some, you know, I guess good strategy behind that. Because when the hitters come to the plate, they could maybe have 3 guys see 1 pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they go back to the dugout, and they can't really explain to the next batters coming up what they saw, because by that time there'll be another new pitcher on. So batters can't talk amongst themselves to, you know, kind of get an idea on a guy and what he's throwing. So, you know, it has an advantage in that way. The only disadvantage is if you throw a pitcher in there that maybe his stuff isn't working quite as well, that he gets hit up on pretty quickly by the Gulls or by the other team, that can do some damage and kind of run away with the game. But, of course, they're quick with that bullpen, so they don't let it get out of hand too quickly before they have somebody else ready to go, because they can just kind of keep arms warm in that bullpen once they get near the halfway point of the ball game.
And that shows that's an obvious strength for the Dawgs. They're willing to go to the bullpen whenever they need to. If they can get to the 5th, perfect. We can shut them down for 4 more innings.
And it's a looking strikeout on Charlie Collins, and he knew it as soon as he saw it. He was reading a different pitch, I think, coming out of the arm, and by the time he realized, he knew that that was a strike. And he was too late to swing.
Yeah, it's a lot harder when a pitcher has multiple pitches that look the same coming out of the hand, but obviously the velocities are a little bit different.
And just, I mean, when you got stuff like that, you got a fastball like 87 miles per hour, and then you got the off speed that floats in there like that at a 74 in on Marino, but it just missing the zone, obviously. It's hard to time those up. And there's a defensive swing there by Marino, because he's like, well, I better swing at this. This is coming a lot faster than I thought. Maybe I think he was waiting on the off speed again.
Yeah, you have a 74-mile-an-hour curveball, and then all of a sudden an 89-mile-an-hour gas.
And then Marino's waiting for the off speed, but he hits it on the ground right to Sanchez, who makes the throw in time for out number 2.
He found the pitch he was looking for. He wanted that curveball, just wasn't quite able to put it where he wanted. Looked like he might have been trying to poke it either up the middle or trying to shoot the gap between shortstop and third, but it's hard to do when he got Ricardo Sanchez manning shortstop there, as he's got some pretty good range on him, as we've seen throughout the season.
So McBride has 9 strikeouts on the season so far in 11.1 innings pitched. 7.94 ERA, though. That stands out to me a little bit. Obviously, he's given up 18 hits in 3 starts, but 7.94 ERA is pretty high, obviously, and maybe not as many games to work with. But he's now got to face a left-hitting batter now in Elijah Hamill, who's a switch hitter. Started this game hitting on the other side of the plate. Now he's got to switch to left. And that is the Swiss Army knife that the Sylvan Lake Gulls have with this at-bat right now. Still looking for his first hit in the game. And he swings all the way around on that one for a strikeout. And everything comes off of his arm. And we will head to the top half of the 7th inning as some great pitching by Joe McBride keeps the Gulls at bay. An absolute gorgeous night here at Gulls Field for what is Toga Night. But if you want to take part in the fun, why not come on Saturday, July 25th, one of our next big theme nights, Alua Night, Hawaiian Night against the Saskatoon Berries. That should be a fun one to watch. Saskatoon looking, again, like a solid team this year in that East Division. And we're hoping to see you here. Get your tickets online at sylvanlakegulls.com and secure your tickets today.
Yeah, that one's going to be double fun. Hawaiian luau night. I wonder if they got a little pig on the roast there. That might be a nice little ad.
Little pig roast.
But I just want to say, the first Gulls game I ever went to was Hawaiian night.
It was.
It was.
And please explain to those that don't know what your experience was like.
Very good.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, yeah, I figured it'd be good ball, but you look around the ballpark and everyone's wearing Hawaiian shirts. And then on the field as well.
And they dress it up so well.
Yes.
The boys wear their special Hawaiian jerseys.
Yep.
They have created a alternate jersey that is Hawaiian themed. And they also put out the tiki torches.
Yeah.
Throughout the ballpark as well. They're just add to it. And this ball hit hard. Good stop by the third baseman. And Flores, does he get it there in time? And he does. Wow, that's a play at the hot corner by Jaden Flores. He makes the stop off a one hopper, and then he throws it right to Coleman Perry, stretching all the way out for that one to hold on for out number one. That's a big, big play.
Split save and a beauty for Coleman Perry at first base there, but great recovery from Jaden Flores. We saw a play earlier from the Dawgs, kind of similar play, stopped it, kind of bobbled it, but Flores puts it on a dime for Perry.
Wow, that was pretty. This ball hit lightly just up the line and it goes foul. Right off the end of the bat, and kind of luckily for Lachlan Maud, that went foul. Otherwise, he would have been a pretty easy out over at first, I would think.
Yeah, potentially even a tag out with how far that was coming up the baseline.
Well, Scott, you knew it was going to be one of those nights where there's going to be some big plays needed to, hold Okotoks to where they are. And we have seen a number of grade A defensive plays here tonight when you need them the most.
Yeah, between the left side of the infield, they've both had a highlight for each.
Yep, they sure have. And a nice strikeout. You're also getting it on the mound as well with, the starter in Matthew McKenzie and now the reliever in Seth Mahler. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, Mahler's up to 3 Ks on the night there. As that one, we said it earlier in the game. Sometimes when the pitcher's feeling it, he's feeling it. And at that point in time, we were talking about Brody Pape, who was cruising through this game. And Seth Mahler comes in and essentially took over this game.
Hold my, he's coming. Hold my beer. I think is what Seth Mahler's saying to everybody right now. Bryant Starr at the plate. He's 0 for 1. Reached base due to a fielder's choice back in the third.
There's something about that curveball that they just can't get to it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of movement. It starts, kind of right down the middle, if not even more on the inside, and it floats away quickly, and it breaks kind of in that last point in the pitch. And then that goes right off the end of the bat, but up the middle, a kind of a defensive swing for Bryant Starr sends a little looper right up to shallow center field to stay alive.
And I wonder if the sun has a little bit of a factor on it, because it's kind of right in the batter's eyes, especially those right-hand batters. That movement's going to be hard to track. You kind of got shadows playing with you too, and like you said, his defensive swing, he kind of fights it off, just lifts it over Mahler's head and gets it down for a base hit.
So that's just the second hit on Seth Mahler, and Okotoks playing a little cat and mouse yet again over at first with those long shadows this time of night. And you can see the shadow there on your right screen. It is almost going to that last dark line that touches the edge of the mound. And you know what? Okotoks not afraid for some base running. And the check swing appeal says he went around on it. 0-1. Obviously, Okotoks doing anything and everything they can to throw somebody off like a good pitcher like Seth Mahler. And yeah, a little bit of cat and mouse. And the throwaway will allow the runner from first to get to third. So Bryant Starr's work does the trick. He gets what he wanted. And that'll be the first error Sylvan Lake Gulls have had tonight.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate play there, and it gets away and ends up going all the way to third for Bryant Starr. But it's almost, obviously it's the mental side of the game, but do you need to kind of play to that game?
Yeah.
You just take care of your batter and you're good to go.
And I think this is exactly what Matt Hape's going to say right now when he comes to the mound, is saying, guys, you're pitching great. Don't worry about the guy at first. He's got a long ways to go. Let him steal second in a moment where it's 2 down. If he's going to go, he's going to go.
And also, you're dealing. You've given up 2 hits, but have they really been hits?
Yeah.
They've kind of lucked themselves into it, just kind of fighting things off. And the way you're pitching, you kind of get some help on that first pitch strike with the appeal over to first, and you just kind of got to take the guy you're facing, and that's who you got to take care of, especially with 2 outs. And now that the runner's over at third, that's even more so likely going to be in your head a little bit. Now you have to see him directly across from you.
Yeah, you gotta watch him now, and he's going to be doing the same kind of stuff he was doing to you over at first. And this is Sanchez still down the count, 0-1. This hit on the ground to Graves will make the clean pickup and throw, and that error will not come back to haunt the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Doesn't matter, as it was a great play over at third by Jaden Flores that got things started for the Sylvan Lake Gulls defensively to keep the Dogs at bay. It's 2-2 coming to the bottom of the 7th. Dalton Hoffert, another new pitcher on the mound for the Okotoks Dawgs. Pitcher number 4.
Closed the books on Joe McBride, who had a heck of an inning.
Yeah.
Three batters faced, 2 strikeouts, 12 pitches.
You know, that's a little bit surprising. That's kind of, I guess, maybe the downfall of why Okotoks does what they do, because you get a good pitcher like McBride. Now you throw a new guy in. So the stuff was working with McBride, and honestly, for Sylvan Lake, maybe even a little bit relieved that McBride is no longer in this ball game, because it was the way he was pitching was, it seemed like the batters couldn't face it very well.
Yeah, he was on his game, having a called strikeout and then a swinging strikeout to end the inning. And then you look at the flip side, and that's maybe what you look at could have happened, because you have Mahler, who's wheeling and dealing, and he's got 2 innings pitched for the Gulls, and it's that much farther that you get into the game with him.
And now you got a 4-pitch walk to this new pitcher and a runner on, John Boy Rittenhouse. And I mean, do you blame him? No, because what did he do his last at bat? A 2-run shot over center field.
Yeah, and that might be a little bit of gamesmanship there. Like, okay, well, we'll work around him, and then, okay, let's take our next 3 batters here.
So that'll bring up Tylen Graves. He's 0 for 2, struck out both times, but he's got a bat in him. Graves coming in, hitting .271. He's got 4 homers on the year, 26 RBIs, 29 hits, 19 runs in 31 games. And now that you got a runner over at first with John Boy Rittenhouse, with that shadow even further now reaching the mound and the tall frame he is, you can play a little cat and mouse with it as well. Try to throw this kid off his game. Of course, you got to be careful, because you don't want to be picked off either.
They already checked in at first before they threw the pitch to Graves, so that's obviously in the back of the Dawgs' minds.
And Graves sends this deep left field, going all the way back. It's off the wall. John Boy's turning third. He's coming home. It's an RBI double for Tylen Graves. That was just needing an extra 2 feet, and that's over the wall.
That's the danger of a guy like Tylen Graves. Sure, he struck out twice, but he's got some pop in his bat. He goes midway up the wall for a double there, and then an RBI.
I think that almost needed a foot, and that was over the wall. That hit the yellow near the top of that fence. That was smashed. But the Gulls get their first lead of the ball game in the bottom of the 7th. And 0 away, and again, like I was mentioning, with that pitching rotation with the Okotoks Dawgs, that can also be the downfall with something like that.
That one was hit hard, line out into the Dawgs bullpen for Perry. So obviously the Gulls are liking what they're seeing from this pitcher, and they're wanting to just label it.
Things are definitely increasing the pace in the bullpen right now for Okotoks. I think you're not on a very long leash when it comes to being on the mound with Dalton Hoffert. And Coleman Perry again lines this just past the bullpen and past Calvin's truck, brought to you by Green Onion Media, our producers of every Gulls broadcast. Oh, 0-2 to Perry. Gulls lead it 3-2 over the Dawgs. And that's outside for ball 1.
Tylen Graves has quietly been putting himself quite the game together.
He has. He really, really has. I mean, 0 for 2 at the plate, but then he gets the job done when he needs to. And Coleman Perry takes that one inside for a called strike and a strikeout to record out number 1. He's not happy with it. Let's take a look at this again.
Looked inside.
That's close. That's.
I can definitely see why Perry is frustrated with that one.
For sure.
And he's a guy who knows his strike zone too.
Yeah. Now, Ricky Sanchez did take one very similarly up high inside, but that one maybe a little bit more inside than what Sanchez did. And it might have Coleman Perry tried to maybe sell it by leaning back a little bit, but regardless, Jeff Chipley calls what he calls, and it's a strikeout for out number one. A little bit of a sigh of relief maybe for the Okotoks Dogs to finally get that one out. So that'll bring up Reese Sherman. He's 0 for 1 on the night. Jaden Flores on deck, and he also may be one of those guys quietly having himself a night as well, being a big defensive play just like Tylen Graves did. Now can he follow up with a bat? And it's 1-2 quickly to Sherman as he takes that one for a called strike. And it's a strikeout to Sherman. So back-to-back strikeouts. Sigh of relief for Dalton Hoffert. And he's just 1 out away now with a runner at second. Gulls trying to maybe just try to gap this lead a little bit if they could take advantage of a runner at second and Tylen Graves. And maybe that'll be it for Hoffert. Let's take a look here. Maybe this is just going to be a little quick meeting on the mound here to get everybody on the same page to know, okay, we got a runner at second. Where's this play going? Where it's hit. And that's kind of maybe just the messaging that Joe Sargent is having right now with his infield.
Just buying a little bit more time for the bullpen in case they need to.
Yeah, and that too, obviously.
It looks like he's starting to get hot.
Yeah, they are warming up some arms still in the bullpen.
And maybe a little bit of a pep talk, like, hey, you've got it going right now. You've got back-to-back strikeouts. Your curveball's going for you. Let's keep this up. Get one more out here. And then your night's done. We'll turn it over to the next guy.
Now, Jaden Flores is a guy that can hit a long ball. He's got 7 RBIs, 1 home run in just his fifth game. Now this will be his 6th game. And he checks that all the way around for a strike. So, yeah, this off-speed is catching these batters. Very similar to Seth Mahler's off-speed. It's kind of having that effect, especially maybe you made a good comment with the sun and, you know, not being able to pick up that ball right away. The way the sun is beating off of it. That in the turf. Now, if you're Tylen Graves, do you try to really play some good cat and mouse here? I don't know. 2 down. Try to do everything you can in your power to keep the inning alive. If you can get this pitcher off his game, maybe a pass ball gets him to third.
It's almost like if you can lock eyes with them at that point, maybe you can play the mental game.
Eye contact. You think he's going to get eye contact? I don't think so.
Maybe not quite eye contact, but he's sure looking at him when he looks back before he delivers the pitch.
Of course, Graves has to be careful with Bryant Starr, too, to come in, and that's hit off the foot of Flores. It's going to be a foul ball, and evening the count 2-2 with 2 down. Hoffert trying to get out of this inning.
Flores trying to shake that off a little bit as he wore it off the foot, and it ended up going right to Hoffert at the mound.
Yeah, that would sting. Two and 2 to Flores. Up high, full count now. Graves will be running on this play. Gives a good opportunity for a little bit of a hit and run here. And that's a walk to Flores. Wow, what good patience by Jaden Flores to take the walk He was down 0-2, and then he brought it all the way back to full.
And that was a similar pitch to the one that Coleman Perry faced that got called as a strike. So it's like, that's a hard one to take.
That is
but
a very hard one to take.
obviously, he made the right decision there, worked his way over to first base, and turns it over to the next guy. Dom Giusti is looking to cash in here.
So the second walk of the inning, and that's going to be the night for Dalton Hoffert, with runners at first and second as Lou Pope will come out to the mound now and take the ball. And we will send another new pitcher in, the fifth pitcher of the ball game for Okotoks. We'll be back with more Gulls baseball right here in the bottom of the seventh. All right, well, here we are in the bottom of the seventh, 2 down. Wyatt Sadlier, the all-star that will be going this weekend to Saskatoon for the Okotoks Dogs, coming in to try to close the door and probably most likely will be the closer of this ball game should he do his job. And so he will see the top of the batting order. Now Dom Giusti, and that one gets past the catcher. And a little bit of some hesitation by the Gulls base runners, but they do all advance. Jaden Flores and Tylen Graves.
I think it's more of a surprise that, that kind of snuck through. Dude. Yeah, we got to go. We got to go now.
That went through the 5-hole.
Yeah.
Of the catcher. And Tylen Graves made it look a little bit more nonchalant. Jaden Flores was more maybe his angle. He couldn't quite see where the ball was. And by the time he decided to run, he felt like he had to slide too. So runners in scoring position now, both of them. Third and second. Dom Giusti just trying to find a hole here. And if he can, then that's going to start to maybe pull away for the Gulls.
Sadlier is kind of the go-to arm out of the bullpen. 20 2/3 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He's having a tough time finding the zone right now. He's up, down in the count 2-0. Ball swung on and hit high, foul. That went, that might have left the orbit.
If he's gonna swing like that, I'm concerned for my car, and I parked a little ways back too.
Yeah, that
had some pop in it.
That was smashed, just a little high. If he can do that, but keep it to the right and maybe have a little bit less air underneath of it, It's going to be leaving the ballpark in a hurry. And he takes that close one for a ball, 3-1. Dom Juicy from Elk Grove, California, goes to Whitworth University. He's 1 for 3 on the night. And they're going to walk Dom Juicy. That will load the bases to a guy that is familiar with a bases loaded situation.
Flashback to Medicine Hat. That one went yard. That was what broke the game open, and then it kind of turned into a home run derby for a few more batters after that. We'll see if he's got it in him again.
Charlie Collins licking his lips right now. And watches that one go by. Things getting interesting here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Gulls take their first lead of the ball game, just up by 1 right now. 2 down, bases are loaded. Collins at the plate. The Australian, that one gets past the catcher, and there will be another run scored. A pass ball that will now make it a 4-2 ball game.
Well, Collins did his job.
He sure did.
He got a run across the plate and didn't really have to do much, just had to stand and take it. Good job for Graves to take advantage of that wild pitch and score that run for the Gulls. That's a big insurance run at this point in the game. Hopefully they can tack on a couple more here.
Yeah, runners remain in scoring position now, 3rd and 2nd. Collins can still do some damage, takes a big cut at it though, 2-1. Now, it's been a long time since the Gulls have been playing defense, so I wonder what the pitching situation is going to be. If Mahler's going to come back in. Collins hits this opposite field, flying pretty far, all the way back towards the track, and it's going to be caught by Cal Gates. So the Sylvan Lake Gulls do tack 2 runs in to score, and it was thanks to Tyler Graves smashing this one just a foot under the fence. Driving in, John Boy Rittenhouse. We'll be back with the top of the 8th. Well, Braden Stewart will come on the mound to try to close the door and close out this game, and he's a king of strikeouts. But he's following up from this kid that was throwing quite a few strikeouts himself in just 2 innings of work, my apologies. He had, what, 3 strikeouts? Yeah, that's a pretty good night for Seth Mahler.
28 pitches in 2 innings. That's pretty solid numbers. And now you go to Braden Stewart. who can also throw some strikeouts.
Well, he starts out with a 94-mile-per-hour high fastball. How about that? It doesn't get anybody swinging on it, though, and he's going to face Cal Gates to lead things off.
Couple big swings from Cal Gates there as he's trying to catch up to that fastball, and it's just not quite working out for him as Braden Stewart looking to put him away. 2-2 count.
And how about it? Oh my. 91-mile-per-hour fastball has Cal Gates. And he's trying to explain exactly what he just saw to Landon Kaufman to give him any kind of help he sees.
In case you're wondering, that's why he's an all-star.
That is why Braden Stewart's an all-star, absolutely. Gulls lead it 4-2 over the Okotoks Dawgs. Trying to keep them there. Landon Kaufman watches the first one go by for a ball. It's down and away. And I think, you know what Cal Gates was saying, it drops. The fastball drops. Be ready for it.
What do you see out there? I don't know. It was fast.
Yeah. From what I could see in a blink of an eye, it might have moved. And he comes around to check on that one, and now he's like, okay, I saw it.
That's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah. And then he just, you know, kind of changes things up, and why not throw an off speed that's 10 miles per hour slower and has more movement on it.
Yeah, you can see just the way that swing was. He was expecting faster, and he just kind of fights it off because it comes across slower.
Had to try to hold back, and not holding back is Braden Stewart. 94 miles on the gun. Wow. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Yeah, not much you can do there when you see him 94 right on the corner. That's a tough one to take. Tough one to swing at, too.
So that'll bring up the DH, Jacob Wróblewski. He's 0 for 3 on the night. And unfortunately for him, it doesn't get any easier.
No.
Now, some of these guys do prefer the fastball. Some of these guys know how to time him up a little bit more. But I think the difference with what Braden Stewart has is his moves. His isn't just a fastball. It moves.
It's got some life to it.
It has life, absolutely. One and one the count.
And like just the way you see him pitch, like you know there's a difference. Like sure it's 5-6 miles an hour faster, but you see the difference in his pitches.
Well, he gets help with the crowd as he takes a swing at that one and sends a soft hit into opposite field, right center field that will land for a base hit. So the first hit on Braden Stewart, and again, a pitcher that just can't strike out the side.
Yeah, getting close to that setup for it and just kind of pokes it into right field to get on board. And this is the point where you go, hey, take care of your batter. Don't even worry about what's on first.
Yeah, you got to kind of remember what happened in that last inning. Nash Kroll is one of those batters. He's hard to get out. He's 2 for 3. It's 2 base hits. Flew out to center last. He's got wood on the ball every single time. And that one tips off the bat on the check swing for a called strike. Pitch up high, 1-1. Sylvan Lake going to have to get ready for it all over again tomorrow down at Seaman Stadium. Okotoks' turn to host. And, of course, it's a busy, busy week down in Okotoks as well right now. The road to Okotoks is also taking place. So the Dawgs, they're kind of getting maybe pushed back a little bit because of that road to Okotoks that's happening. But then it's All-Star Weekend this weekend, as you see it on your screen there. And then the Sylvan Lake Gulls go on the road for a bit. Fort Mac for a pair and Energy City on July 23rd. So they're away from home for a while. And Braden Stewart says, well, if we're going to be away for so long, why not make this place go nuts? And the Sylvan Lake Gulls get 3 strikeouts from that man. Braden Stewart throws heat all night long. You thought it was hot now? I think it just got a little warmer out here in Sylvan Lake. Joey Marino will lead things off here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Sylvan Lake up 4-2 over the Dawgs. A chance to just add a little bit of insurance and some cushion to their lead heading into the final frame. Obviously, that's what they're going to be looking to do. Okotoks trying to shut the door here, and they got their star pitcher in Wyatt Sadlier on the mound right now. We were talking about him. He's got a 3.05 ERA, and this is hit pretty well to center field. Going all the way back, and it's off the wall. That flew the head of Landon Kaufman. A stand-up double by Joey Marino that just got in the air, and it carried.
Yeah, the weather's kind of cooled off a little bit, so maybe the ball's carrying a little bit farther as Kaufman was looking back, and he went, oh, I think that's over my head, and the warning track was coming up on him, and that's going to be a stand-up double like you mentioned, and good way to kick things off in the bottom of the 8th here, looking for some insurance.
That is huge, especially when you're kind of coming to the meat of the order right now. Elijah Hamill, John Boy Rittenhouse on deck. Marino playing a little bit of games at second. So 2-0 to Hamill. A little bit of respect for Hamill, a little respect to Marino at second. And again, that's outside, 3-0. Nothing happening in the bullpen for the Okotoks Dawgs, so they're resting the fate on this kid right now. They're all-star. And that's kind of what they seem to do. They usually go 5 pitchers a game, or they try to. They average probably around 4 or 5. And Hamill taking all the way on that one. You know he wanted to turn on it, didn't you? I mean, that was his pitch. Hamill has seen those before, and he loves those pitches. But close game, you can't take your chances. Three and one. That just catching the down and away corner on Hamill. Now a full count. And he'll take the walk. 2 runners on for Sylvan Lake with 0 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And coming up is the big hitter in John Boyer Rittenhouse with a 2-run homer already back in the 4th inning.
Yeah, good patience for Hamill. He's setting up again for Rittenhouse. Last time he walked, good things happened. That's twice Hamill's worked his way over to first base at the walk, and it's a good spot to be in. Rittenhouse at the dish, no one away, 2 on.
Rittenhouse is 1 for 2, but he's gotten on base 2 out of the 3 times, and he's come around to score 2 times himself. Let's just say it's a night of 2s for John Boyer Rittenhouse. Can he get his 2nd hit of the ball game? And that would be timely. He took a big cut at the first one, 0-1. And he quickly goes down the count, 0-2. As he goes kind of off the inside. I'm going to call time here as the back row was a little slow getting to that ball behind home plate. Had to go a little ways for it. So they're going to give her a little extra time here to get back safely, because foul ball, you don't ever want anything to happen to somebody so small, or anybody for that matter. 0-2 on Rittenhouse. And he drills this into the gap of left field, and they're going to hold everybody up. Bases loaded. Oh, you could almost ran home there if you were Joey Marino. That throw kind of went in the middle of no one. Didn't hit a cutoff man or anything, and luckily for Okotoks, they already made the decision to hold everybody up. If I'm Marino, I'm watching that throw come in. You almost take your chances. No?
Yeah,
With 0 outs? Maybe not.
It looked like he thought about it, wanted it, but probably the smart play to just stay put because you have no outs. And the way things are going, maybe let's not quite push our luck. Let's try to keep this thing going.
Well, it was a quick warm-up for whoever was in the bullpen. I think it was number 35, Corey Alston, getting set to come into this ball game. So we'll step aside one more time. Bottom of 8, it's a Gulls 4-2 lead with 0 outs, bases loaded. So another new pitcher on the mound, the 6th pitcher Okotoks will send. And you got to wonder, how does that set up for tomorrow night now for them? Because they've gone through 6 arms. Obviously, quite a few only did an innings of work, so they probably can use those arms again if they need tomorrow. But this is Corey Alston, the right-hander from San Antonio, Texas. With bases loaded, 0 outs, he is in a jam right now. And Tyler Graves at the dish, looking to add some insurance to this ball game. And we take a look at Alston's numbers. And he is currently 7.27 ERA. He's got 9 strikeouts, 14 hits, 7 earned runs, and 18.2 innings of work. Graves looking to keep things going. He checks his swing, and they say no, he did not go around. 1-1.
Yeah, you can kind of sense Graves wants this. It is hard to hold off on that one.
And Coleman Perry on deck, and then you got Reese Sherman following up after that. 1-1. And that's down, out of the zone, 2-1.
Couple big pitchers for the Dawgs. These last 2 guys being around that 6'4", and they throw completely over their head. So it's a ball that's coming down on you pretty hard.
Sylvan Lake threatening, big time. Bottom of 8. And that catches something on the outside. Let's watch this again. This might have been one of the furthest out of the zone calls we've seen from Chipley tonight, but to him it was in the zone, so I can't say. He's got a closer eye. I don't want to hound on him. I know he watches the broadcast after. He's having a good call tonight, and every umpire every now and then will have one that maybe gets away on him. And Tyler Graves goes down looking for strikeout number 1 to limit the damage here in a bases loaded situation. Sylvan Lake would love to at least try to cash something in. You got to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, it's a little exhale there for the Dawgs, getting some help there, and sets up that strikeout. So that's 1 away.
And you can kind of just look at him. He's moving constantly, this pitcher, and Sadler. We got a new pitcher in, and that's number 35, Corey Alston. But he can't stop moving. You can tell he's got the adrenaline running through him right now. He's kind of always moving. Not sure if that's nerves or if that's just what he does. But he's been doing it every pitch as he just kind of bounces on that left foot, and then he settles in. Perry. Deep fly ball, center field, going all the way back. It's out of here! A grand slam by Coleman Perry. Oh, baby.
Coleman Perry. That's 4 massive runs across the plate. He hit that so far, dead straight center field, just around the batter's eye. That's a huge moment right there for the Dawgs, or for the Gulls there. Dawgs just trying to get out of this one now.
Yeah, that is your worst case scenario for the Dawgs, bases loaded with, at the time, 0 outs. Then there was just 1 out there. And Coleman Perry does what John Boy Rittenhouse did. Same spot, same area, deep as it can go. Center field. Oh my, that was smashed.
That was just what the doctor ordered right there for the Gulls.
That gives your closer a little bit more breathing room, I think.
Yes.
But the job's not finished, of course. It's still an inning to go after this. 1 away. Okotoks still trying to get, themselves out of this jam that is blown up. Gulls bats heating up late in this ball game when they needed to. And Sherman lifts this into opposite field territory. That's going to land fair. He's rounding first. There's a stand-up double for Reese Sherman to keep things going.
That one was well hit by Sherman, just goes right down the right field line and just keeps it fair. Well placed ball, and that keeps the hit parade going. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits in this inning now for the Gulls.
This has been a absolute clinic in this inning, and what a turn of events for Sylvan Lake. These big innings when they needed them the most, they came up big. 7th inning, they get their first lead. They go up by 2, and then things come alive in the 8th. Jaden Flores now at the plate, rounding out the batting order. He takes that on the outside. Very similar call that we saw earlier on in this inning that kind of ended up being a strikeout to Graves. And that's hit opposite field, but foul into just past the bullpen of the Okotoks Dawgs. Now, I've been watching all night, and there have been kids in the outfield past the fence waiting for those balls all night long, and they've been fetching them. And they've had some good, probably, recoveries tonight, too.
Yeah, they picked a good night to be out in foul territory and able to run over for home run balls, but I don't know if some of those balls are catchable, because you see there's kind of that fence for the construction area. Coleman Perry's might be in that construction area.
That's actually a good point. Pagato Park still developing here in Sylvan Lake. It's just getting started, in fact, and what we're seeing right now in the right field is going to be a football field put in place. So there's going to be all kinds of sporting events here in the near future in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada, on the outskirts.
The place to be from spring to fall.
It will be, yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they even put a little hockey rink in the winter time out here somewhere.
Nice little ODR.
Yeah, that'd be all right. One and 2 to Flores, 1 away. Runner at second, that's Reese Sherman. Flores lifts this into right field, just foul. Oh boy, that was close.
Yeah, I was about 6 inches away from being another run on the board there.
Very similar to where Sherman put his, just a little bit more right.
Just missing that one, but now you got to collect yourself again and go back into the batter's box, try to adjust, as that one barely went foul.
And if you're the Okotoks Dawgs watching from the dugout, that was a little bit of a,
yeah,
we can breathe a little bit, because that would not have felt good to watch that land fair as well. So still a 1-2 count. And a strikeout up high. Got him with a fastball.
And that's what makes it feel just a little bit better for the Dawgs there. You escape by the skin of your teeth, and then you turn that into a strikeout.
Yeah, good pitch, high and away. So that'll bring up Dom Giusti. He is 1 for 3 on the night. Looking to keep this inning alive. Add another run on the board if he can. And maybe you can help with my memory, Scott, but I don't believe, or I don't remember seeing a Grand Slam here at the ballpark yet this summer.
I don't think so.
I think that was the first one we've seen this summer here at Gulls Field.
Been a big week for Grand Slams.
It sure
doing
has.
it on the road.
Yes.
Charlie Collins doing it in Medicine Hat.
Yeah, Coleman Perry doing it here in Sylvan Lake.
Timely home runs for them tonight. You get that one earlier on in the game from Rittenhouse to tie the game, and then a huge insurance one from Perry.
Ball swung on, hit high, fly ball left center field. This should be playable. And coming over is the left fielder, Aiden Doherty. to make the catch for out number 3 and to finally get out of this inning, but not before a big bat by Coleman Perry sent it right over the Baker Hughes sign, and the fence, it's a grand slam. 8-2, Gulls lead ahead of the ninth. Well, there's a beautiful little farm silo out in the distance. That's in the backdrop here, just behind the batter's eye. But we talk about how it's so important this time of year, especially when we get close to the playoffs. These games have a lot of meaning behind them. Well, the Sylvan Lake Gulls just a game and a half back from the Dawgs in that first place spot, the West standings. And, of course, they can hold out tonight. They got even a little closer.
Yeah, it's a big swing when these two teams are playing against each other, because this is your chance to catch ground on them. And a win puts you one win back, a half game essentially.
Half game, yeah.
Right back out of first place, so it's a tight one.
It is a tight race in the West for the top 3 teams. Braden Stewart looking to close things out. He's got a little bit more pressure relieved, I guess you can say, from him. But obviously still wants to put a good inning together.
Yeah, certainly. He's got 3 strikeouts to his name in the first inning that he pitched, and gave up 1 hit in that span, and now looking to shut the door on these Dawgs here.
And you know what I noticed is in the warm-up throws, he's not throwing hard, and he's not throwing his fastballs like he does when they come to bat, because he doesn't want to give these guys something to look at.
No.
I think that's, honestly, I picked up on that. I think it's a little bit of strategic play by him. He's going to try to work on most of his off-speed while they're watching, and then when they come to the plate, that's when he'll dial it in. So Aiden Doherty will watch the first one go by.
There's the gas.
And, yeah, there's the gas, but just up high, missing for 1-0. That's a tough take, too, for a kid to be at the plate. And this one will hit into right field, so a good start by Okotoks as they need to make up some ground now, down 6 runs. Great leadoff single by Doherty.
Yeah, he kind of fights that one off and just lifts it high enough over the head of Coleman Perry into right field. And that gets 1 dog on the base path here. Bring the next man up. One thing you notice too about these Dawgs in the batter's box, they don't really get smaller. They're all pretty tall fellas out there for the Dawgs. Got some size on them. And on the mound too.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys are big boys coming to the plate now. And it's a ball, 1-1.
It's like the Dawgs are growing them in labs with their academy going
they are.
on.
Yeah, they really are. They're feeding them something down in the water there. Something in the dog bowl. But you got to respect the academy. The Dawgs Academy has been around for so many years now. And obviously the road to Okotoks will showcase the top 16 teams across the country in amateur baseball. I mean, these kids are future WCBLers down there right now playing for the Cup.
They had a sold-out crowd, 6,200, and I assume it was a home game for Okotoks.
Yeah, and I believe they beat the Gulls prep team earlier today. It was pretty sure it was an 8-2. It might have been an 8-2 final in that game. I'm just going off my memory from social media, but maybe you can confirm that, Scott. But yeah, Calvin Bellows from Green Onion Media in our ears saying that apparently there's quite a few scouts down there in the area right now watching these kids at such a young age. And of course, you got a lot of teams from all across Canada. 1-2, and that is just fought off by Eric Matchey, who's gone 2 for 3 at the plate tonight. But a busy, busy week down in Okotoks, a busy week in Saskatoon. Because normally Okotoks is the host for the All-Star Weekend, and because they're not, they decided, let's host something else. Something's got to bring money to Okotoks, right?
They're a great kind of event town,
They
especially
are.
for baseball. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah, they've got a great spot for it. A lot of seats. Great spot to host a big event like that. So 2-2 count to Eric Matchy. Lachlan Maud is on deck, and this is fouled up high in the air. It's going to just trickle foul. Just missing a fan who I don't think was even watching that ball. It just landed harmlessly right beside him on the stairs. The guy in the red shirt that you see there on your screen, he's got a smile on his face. He's like, I didn't know that ball was going to land so close to me. Two and two the count to Eric Matchy, and it's hit up high, fly ball. It'll stay in the infield. Coleman Perry calling everybody off, and he'll make the catch. Good out, number one for Sylvan Lake.
Good communication there from Perry saying, hey, I got this one. So Joey Marino kind of lets off on him and doesn't get in his way. And you get the first out of the inning.
I'm going to say this. Double play is in effect right now. Lachlan Maud at the plate, 0 for 3. Walked in the first or second inning. His first at bat. Two and one to Lachlan Maud. Now 3-1. First time Braden Stewart's been, I think, this down in a count.
Doesn't quite have the same pressure that he had with that 2-run lead. Now it's a 6-run lead. And we know that he likes to pitch in the pressure.
And brings it to full. That was a good pitch, 93 miles per hour. Big pitch here coming up. And it's a walk, oh my. That was close, a good take there by Lachlan Maud, but now 2 runners on, and you know, things still looking promising right now for Okotoks, and that's just who they are. And they're going to throw a pinch hitter in to round things out of the batting order here.
Yeah, the Dawgs, they don't go down without a fight, and they're certainly fighting to the bitter end here.
So Jordan Leveman will come in, and we take a look at his batting. And I don't actually have anything on Jordan Leveman. Or sorry, I do. They spelt his last name wrong on the stat sheet. That would make sense. 367 is what he's hitting this year. He's got 32 RBIs and 4 home runs. And he's quickly down the count 0-2. Welcome to Braden Stewart, Jordan. And he's actually, Jordan Keeveman's actually leading this team in RBIs, 32. And there's a strikeout. Braden Stewart with yet another K. That is 4 now on the night for Braden Stewart.
Yeah, new challenger approaches, and Braden Stewart, he's going to show up for it. As that was a 3-pitch strikeout. Back to the meat and potatoes. Catch me if you can.
So Ricardo Sanchez, the last hope for Okotoks to keep this inning alive. Runners at first and second. And 1-1, not just up high. That one just gets out of the way. 2-1. And there it is, catching up high on the corner. 2-2. Gulls to their last strike. Last out. Looking for a huge win to hold on against the Okotoks Dawgs. Looking to catch them in the West Division standings. Braden Stewart, this ball hit on the ground and into the gap, and a run will come in to score for the Dawgs. So unfortunately for him, he can't close it out. RBI single there for Ricky Sanchez, what he just seems to do best. He won't give up on any at-bat, and does a good job to lift that into the gap.
Yeah, he kind of had a quiet night. He did have an RBI earlier in the game with the sac fly in the third, but that's the second run that he's cashed in.
And the fastball's got Cal Gates behind it. Cal Gates was one of the first pitchers, actually, that he had to face Braden Stewart. And after he left, he looked and went to Landon Kaufman and said, this is what to look out for. And now he's down 0-2. Clearly something that he's been struggling with was the heat.
Yeah, he got ahead of that one and just kind of glances off his bat. And like you said, falls down 0-2 early.
For the second time, the Dawgs are down to their final strike, final out. What's Braden Stewart got in store? And that goes foul. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. I thought maybe does he try to get the off speed in there?
Cal Gates is kind of just hanging on for dear life, just fighting off the last two pitches. Just trying to hang in here.
0-2. Stewart looking for the close. Hit well over the head again into right field. And they're going to hold everybody up with bases loaded, 2 away. So back-to-back base hits. Okotoks not going anywhere.
No, they sure know how to keep a game interesting all the way down to their last out. As they're down by 5. They got one in already, and they're trying to make it interesting.
Yeah, we're just going to get a little meeting on the mound here with Matt Haight just to kind of come out and just check on things. So it gets interesting. I mean, bases are loaded. Dawgs, with one swing of the bat, can bring themselves back to within 1. But it's going to be a lengthy meeting on the mound, the last one for Sylvan Lake. So obviously they want Braden Stewart to get out of this inning and be the guy.
He's a guy that can rise to the occasion.
But this is what the Dawgs do to you.
Yeah, they hang around.
Will hang around. And as long as possible. And they have had numerous come from behind victories in the last 2 innings of play. Many of them. This would be one of the biggest ones they'd probably have if they can do it in a 9th inning with 2 away. Bases loaded situation. I mean, they still have to get the guy next on deck home too. So they got a lot of work to do here. But you can never count the Okotoks Dogs out. 0-1. That's inside. And Landon Kaufman tried to sell. That ticked him to try driving another run.
None of the Gulls fans were buying what he was selling.
Nobody was buying it. But you got to give him credit. That was funny. 1-1. And a check swing goes around. And the Okotoks Dogs now complaining on that.
You might have earned that one.
And for the third time now, Okotoks down to their final strike. Can Braden Stewart put it away? Landon Kaufman. He will go down swinging. The Sylvan Lake Gulls get a huge victory over their arch rivals in the Okotoks Dogs. And they take this one 8-3. What a game.
What a game indeed. You look back and Braden Stewart, sure he gave up a few hits, but 5 strikeouts in his 2 innings of work. That's pretty darn good. And you look back in the game and you look at John Boy Rittenhouse, huge 2-run shot to tie the game up. And then you get another couple runs after that. Ends up being the game-winning runs right there. But the biggest part was probably Coleman Perry with that big sigh relief grand slam to make it a big lead.
John Boy going 2 for 3 at the plate, obviously. That home run that ties the game. Before that, no bats were really getting anything going. I mean, Dom Juicy, up until that point, Juicy was the only guy that had a base hit on the board. And then they got a walk, and then the 2-run shot to tie the ball game. And then from there, you could just see the tides turn a little bit for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. They got then the pitching. I mean, credit to Seth Mahler, credit to Braden Stewart. Really, really wanted to split the player of the game with those 2 pitchers right there. Braden Stewart was going to get it. It just came down to those final last at-bats. So we'll hand things down to Jared Waldo.
Boy Rittenhouse. John Boy, that was a fun game to watch from our perspective. Take us through what it was like down here on the field.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It's always good to get a win against those guys. First guy was pretty good, but once we got through the lineup we got on them.
You know, the bats have been working the last couple of games. We saw it online. You guys will go down to Medicine Hat, hitting the long balls, grand slams. We come up here tonight, more long balls, more grand slams. Talk about the offense for this team right now.
Yeah, we're just hot right now. Just having taken good approaches and seeing good pitches and just sticking to the approach, and it's been working.
And let's talk about, credit where it's due, your pitching staff. Matt comes in, gets things started. Seth steps in during that transition, and Braden just closes it out. 3 pitchers tonight. Don't give up a whole heck of a lot. Just talk about your pitching crew.
Yeah, those guys are really good. It's really fun to play behind them. It's easy. So I just always know when those 3 go out there, it's always a good chance we're going to get a win.
Well, congrats on the win, and we'll do it again next time as well.
Thank you, sir.
Your EG Actions player of the game, John Boy Rittenhouse.
John Boy Rittenhouse, the player of the game. Of course, you got to give credit, and he did just that. When he got those 3 pitchers on the mound, you know you have a good chance at following away with a win, and they did just that. The Sylvan Lake Gulls got the great pitching. I mean, Matthew McKenzie, great start, just gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, but then Seth Mahler comes, shuts the door down. And then, of course, Stewart comes in and does a really good job. Was going to shut the door down. Couple base hits that kind of got away on him there in the 9th inning. That made things maybe a little more interesting than they needed to be. But at the end of the day, some of the Gulls got the win.
Yeah, they did, and it was a complete game effort for them. Like you said, starting, phenomenal. Matthew McKenzie only gives up 2 runs in his 5 innings of work, turns the ball over to Mahler. He gets through his 2 innings with, 3 strikeouts, and then he turns it over to Braden Stewart, 5 more Ks on the board, and the offense, they came alive when they needed to. Clutch hitting, big home runs.
This has probably been the hottest offense we have seen from the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And, of course, it just keeps going and going and going. And another great night. Of course, Scotiabank Saddledome in attendance for this one with a great contribution to the Birdie Bash and the Gulls Give Foundation. But how about Tyler Graves defensively? That kind of got a little momentum going. Great throw from Dom Juicy, just not in time. Then his bat shatters on the next at bat. And then you got a little bit of double plays happening defensively as well. And of course, we had a great chance to chat with Scotiabank here in the crowd, taking it all in. And then, of course, John Boy Rittenhouse ignites that crowd in this one. No chance for that guy. And then, of course, no chance at third either with Jaden Flores stopping up that ball with a great stop and a great throw. And then Tylen Graves comes close to also hitting a home run. But you know who does? Coleman Perry with the grand slam that really walks away this win. 8-3, Sylvan Lake takes it over the Okotoks Dawgs. They'll redo it all over at Siemens Stadium tomorrow night. For Scott Simpson, Calvin Bellows, I'm Cale Clark with another Bird's Eye View.